Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. It's good to see all of you. CBC says, does anyone think this could be photoshopped? No. No. And I'll prove to you why it's not photoshopped. But I hope you're all having a good morning. We're a little earlier than normal, but wanted to get this out of the way. It's supposed to be a beautiful day here. I have so much to do. And my daughter is graduating. If he's guilty, then he should represent. Oh, hey, Mystery Froggy, Chopper. Tony is an inspiration to all teacup chihuahuas and Yorkies everywhere. He really gave these majestic dogs their confidence back. Thank you. Only person who tried editing anything was, TikTok himself. Definitely not Photoshop. Can hear the toilet and him sipping pants. Yep. So there's many ways to prove it wasn't Photoshopped. I don't know why the guy just didn't, either ignore it and let it just kind of wave under or just apologize. I mean, he's the one that did wrong, you know what I mean? Instead, he's blaming everybody else. But what he did last night is despicable. Okay. It is one of the most horrific things I've ever seen. Thank you so much, Widow. She had a tough run. So I'm very, very proud of her. Very proud of her. It hasn't been easy for her. Good morning, Linda, BB, Sharon, Spicy Sugar, Shermfire. Alley Cat, I'm glad you caught alive too. Hey, Bama, sorry. Reporting for duty, says Savannah. Right on time. Oh, it's horrific, Forever Army. But if you didn't think TikTok Tony could step it up further, he did. He did. And I'm going to wait for a few more people to come in before we get into it. Hey, Trish, Turtle Madness, Porsche, Beachy Keen. He's horrific. He's absolutely horrific. BS Detective, good morning. OG Blame Erica. He's trying to scare people with the FBI. Yeah, and you know what else? When he says there that he called the FBI, but if you just apologize, that's not the way it works. You don't get to accuse somebody of committing a crime, tell them that you contact the FBI, but if they just simply apologize, no, if a crime was committed and you contacted the FBI, no apology will do. So knock it off. I don't even believe the man contacted the FBI. I believe he was just trying to scare people, and it's not going to work. Welcome, Siobhan, from the UK. My lovely mod, Jill, sends my kids around the world snack package each month. And this time it was from the UK and Scotland, which is really exciting. So we have a lovely friends here on YouTube that are from those areas. And I've always loved the UK. Mrs. Fletcher, they should all be ashamed. Yeah. Good morning, Eliza. Sony, Carrie. No, and the fact of the matter is nobody committed a crime except for him, which would be indecent exposure. He should just apologize. Hey, Hershey. But it really gets worse. It absolutely gets worse. And I can't believe that this is where we're at. This is what Tony's doing. So first, I guess I'll go ahead and show you all this to get this out of the way. Oh, I'm on the wrong account here. I'm on my son's. All right, switch over. Show you guys this, and then I'll get into what I'm really here for. Why isn't this switching over? Hold on. Okay, here we go. Oh, sorry. One of the people who live streamed Tony's TikTok, and not only there's several ways you can tell he's lying, but one of the people who were live streaming it was this lady over here. Thank you so much, Diana. Barcelona, Spain. I love it. What a blessing. So this is one of the people that was live streaming Tony, but the problem is several people were watching in real time, several were screen recording, and several were stream sniping. Hey, Kraken. So when they're saying it was Jay. It was an accident. It was definitely an accident. But what's not an accident is being out here lying, blackmailing, threatening. That's not accidental. So I take little pity.
And critters on the farm.
So Lady K live streamed it, but so did Crime Crazy and Critters, the farm lady. She also was live streaming it, and she was talking in the chat. So you can't say she faked it as well. I hear people are blaming Dolly. I hear people are blaming Jay. It was none of them. It was Tony himself. He did this. So you'll see right here that she's actually typing.
You know, I hope that these these idiots in the chat, if they got something slick to say, just get rid of them. Guys.
He's talking about me.
See, so she's literally typing as it's going on. And here she is typing
for
again.
a while, and then after a while, then
Okay, so that is not my stream. That is not me. So now do this case closed because
Sorry,
we have it.
a lot.
I don't know what else to say. Should we watch the what?
So you're going to see it right here.
Excuse yourself. I mean, or
Lady K's a talker.
To Crimes Critter on the Farm. Thing, and he did.
Right
That's
here.
the only thing that I had a problem with JLR is the way that he followed Candace to her hotel room and harassed her. That's the only problem I've had with JLR. Other than that, I don't have a problem with JLR.
I don't think he cares.
Agree with what he did to Candace.
Can't read the comments, so I did see a little thing of 2 a.m. girls agree with everything Tony has to say. Actually, I don't agree.
I like that they call them 2 a.m. girls. So anyway, you'll see it happen.
Seth.
As she's typing.
Wait, okay, police told me, what are your, just like, I'm just saying, period. Okay, and you know what? A lot of good people.
JLR is the way that he followed Candace to just did.
I can't read the comments, so I did see a little thing of 2 a.m. girls agree with everything Tony has to say. Actually, I don't agree. I don't agree with everything Tony says, but you know, and Tony and I address it like adults privately. I don't go and bash him publicly.
Yeah. And I just, like I said, I've had enough of people causing grief for Seth. You know, I can stay professional and I can stay.
There it is. So you mean to tell me this lady, as she's typing and live streaming,
stay above board for a while?
Whoopsie. Okay, there we have it. Okay.
So it did happen. But you know what else happens? You know what else happens? Hey, Roddy. You will never believe what Tony did last night. Are you all ready for this? This piece of shit, Tony Mathis, who first became a PR, okay, quotation, air quotations, a PR man through Caleb Harris, the disappearance of Caleb Harris, this creepy asshole hijacked the Caleb Harris TikTok account that had over 10,000 followers, changed it to his name, removed all of Caleb Harris's family's posts, and is now posting crap about JLR. Do you hear what I just said? The spokesperson for Randy Harris that came on to supposedly help find his missing son took over the TikTok account that was originally named Find Caleb Harris, changed it to Tony Mathis, deleted all of the family's postings, completely swiped Caleb off the face of it, and is now posting things about JLR. How despicable is that? How absolutely disgusting is that? $10.9K for true crime and exposing of criminal content creators exploiting families. So he changes the About Me section of the Find Caleb Harris. And that's likely why he did it, Tinky Tank, because they wanted nothing further to do with him. Changes it. This is a man that is supposed to be helping search for Sebastian Rogers. And he is so deep in the drama that even what he claims is his good friend, Jennifer, called him out. So no, Tony, you might be able to fool the little TikTokers over there, but those of us with common sense over here on YouTube, you had an accidental virtual background slip where you exposed yourself. Lying and claiming that it was other creators here on YouTube and slandering them will not work, and neither will your sick attempts like this. This is despicable. This TikTok was built up of over 10, what does that say? 10.9K followers that cared about Caleb Harris, not Tony Mathis' little hurt feelings. Not your little hurt feelings. I can't believe he would even do that. That is just so sad. So let me show you all here. This lovely face on the screen, Jennifer. Tiny Tony is Cal Harris's dad's boss. It's really sad. It's really sad what Tony is doing out here. He has come in and he has flipped the entire investigation for Sebastian into a joke. And now he's doing the same thing when it comes to Caleb's name. It is shameful. It is despicable. It is anything but what a spokesperson should be doing. And then to top it off, it got me all over the place today because I am so angry. Let's check it. All right, let me play this really quick and then we'll get to the next thing.
True crimers, welcome to Break the Case. I'm your host. I'm Jen Coffindaffer. I have over 28 years of federal law enforcement investigative do every Monday some missing cases, or so that hopefully people Tuesdays, True Crime Tuesday, where we're also still working on the lawyer shift. Such an important topic, I think, for us to touch on. And so I'm going to keep it, like I said, it's pretty easy because every day,
listen, you might see Tony might pop out and tell you all how of retail theft from 2008. Okay. He might just pop out and tell you all that I'm an ex-addict in recovery and a horrible piece of shit. And guess what? I don't care. I don't care. Just like JLR, just like many people can turn around and they can fix their lives and go on a better course. You, Tony, is a little late. It's a little late. And you know what? If Tony wants to go into exposing records, let's talk about all the places that have sued you, Tony Mathis. Would you all be surprised to find out that a church sued Tony Mathis? It seems like Tony there has a hard time keeping contracts.
Fortunately, there's a domestic violence incident that's easily highlighted, and all of them have important lessons. Sometimes the lesson is, listen, even though you're divorced and you think you're...
Oh, I'm sorry. Should I add Tony and his wife? That's one thing they did together. You're right. He's over there bragging about his waterfront property, and I guess so. When you're out here ripping off companies left and right, including a church, you shameful bastard. A church.
Her ex-spouse is out of the picture. If you ended on a bad relationship, it's never over sometimes.
You're so sweet, Jennifer, but I'm not looking for that. So hold on. Let me fix it. It's pretty sad that even Jennifer had to come out here and call this out. All right, here we go. Listen to what Jennifer says here.
The last case I had as an agent was a missing young autistic boy who ended up being deceased in a nearby pond from the home where he went missing. And that case taught me a lot. And
Jennifer Coffindaffer is about to give Tony Mathis. You know, Tony likes to brag that he's good friends with Jennifer. You know. Is his good friend.
Year-old individual, young man. He's adorable.
Hit the
He's
thumbs
got
up.
the glasses and the big smile, and there's just something about him. I mean, I know what it is for me. My brother is he was born breech and was deprived of oxygen for about 10 seconds. So he suffers from cerebral palsy. And so his fingers are, and if you saw a picture, he's my brother's, especially, certainly, that case really hit with me. I think also because the last case I had as an agent,
I was at the right spot. Okay.
Big relation. You learn so much.
Here we go. Listen.
So over years of time and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cases, you make mistakes and you learn from them, right? So that case is something I've tried to remember all the lessons I learned in that case and bring them to the Sebastian Rogers case as we try to analyze what might or might not have happened. So recently there were 6 letters.
Here she goes, right? There were 6 letters, and Tony says 6 more are going out.
That went out from Seth Rogers, the father, through an attorney. He's actually like a family attorney, a custody attorney, I should say, regarding basically saying cease and desist dissemination of essentially what you've done. It went out to an investigator named Chloe that had been involved in the case for a long time, volunteered a lot of hours, a lot of time, to some creators. I haven't seen all the letters. I've only honestly seen the letter to Chloe. I haven't seen the others, but I know they exist because I listened to Seth talk about it. I reached out to Seth's camp to ask about it. You know, why, what is going on?
Do you hear her? I reached out to Seth's camp to ask about it. Why? Because you don't send out cease and desist. Now listen to what the response she got back is. And if I was one of those people that received a cease and desist, and I found out that they told Jennifer Coffendorfer that this is why I received it, I would be coming after you legally.
On here, something very unique in the missing world, to basically not want people disseminating information regarding a missing child. I was told a lot of extremely concerning things, which I'm not going to discuss here.
Extremely concerning things, because you know what they're telling people? They're telling people that everyone who received one had called Sebastian the P word. Bullshit. Absolute lie.
I don't think it's appropriate. It's disturbing. It's concerning. And
I don't think it's appropriate. It's concerning. It's disturbing. They are lying and telling people that those who received the C and D had called Sebastian the P word.
That's why these letters were sent out. But
hello,
I'm going to, again, we should be a united community focused on the victims. So I'm not going to detract from the mission. And the mission is Sebastian Rogers. Nothing else is the mission. Nothing else. Not discrediting others. Cease and desist letters are certainly interesting and something I haven't seen in such a case. I'm sure law enforcement had a lot of questions.
No, she doesn't believe them. She doesn't believe them. You can tell she doesn't believe them. That's why she said, I'm not going to repeat it. It's disturbing. She knows it's not true. She's no idiot.
Because it's unusual, because in a sense, the case belongs to law enforcement, right?
Say it louder. You cannot tell people they can't speak on Sebastian's disappearance because the case belongs to law enforcement.
This investigation belongs to law enforcement. While, as an example, the Petitos, they were very involved in Gabby's case.
Right,
missing parents tend to be very involved. They want to find their child. They're typically very heartbroken. It's about returning that child or that person to their loved ones.
No. No, she's calling out Tony. She's calling out Tony. She's getting to it. She's saying the focus should be on Sebastian, not all this drama. You can't send out C&Ds that, get the focus back on Sebastian. That's what she's saying.
So
she's just slow to get
certainly
there.
Involvement by family is very important. Law enforcement actually wants that. They want family members to speak to the media, to mainstream and social media, because that keeps the story out there. It keeps the story alive. So it's very important. But
so why are they trying to silence the story? Ask yourselves that. Why is Tony Mathis and Seth Rogers trying to prevent Sebastian's name from being out there? Most of the people that received the C&D so far are those who are boots on the ground. So ask yourselves why they want to stop that.
There are lines that can be crossed.
Well,
I don't know if those were crossed here. I know obviously Sebastian and his camp believe they were crossed. And they believed so much that they were crossed that they were willing to hire an attorney to issue these letters.
It's a joke.
I'm hoping that we can put that sort of on the side and continue with efforts to find Sebastian. What everyone can do is continue to post his name, to post his photograph.
She's telling people to ignore the C&Ds and continue the focus on Sebastian. That's what she's saying.
To tell his story on their social media platforms. They continue to do that on their flyers. Anything you can do to keep his face and name. If I know anything about this case, I know this. No matter who is with Sebastian, if he's alive.
So that's all I have of her. So she's basically saying, no, you can't really send out C&Ds. You don't own the case. You can't do that. And I suggest nobody care and continue on. Continue on searching for Sebastian. But if you thought Tony couldn't get any worse, well, I'm here to show you, folks. Not only did he hijack the Find Caleb Harris TikTok and turn into his personal little drama fest over there, but we also have this. Trevor reaches out to Tony because he's always had contact, and he makes him aware. It's basically save your money. I write this to you in your official capacity as Seth Rogers spokesperson. Let this please serve as my written notice that my efforts to find Sebastian will not cease. Many have said you guys plan to serve me with a cease and desist and possibly a suit to follow. I will not be scared into being silent, nor will I be silenced by a clear abuse of the civil system. So again, let this serve as official notice. I will continue my efforts towards a safe return or recovery of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. You ready for professional Tony's response? Why can't I make it bigger? Oh, I don't know. I'm not under contract. Send your bullshit to him and quit being a trouble-causing, whiny little bitch. Professional. Very professional. All right, Danny, don't come in here with your bullshit. If you think that's the case, then why are you here? Until law enforcement says that they believe that child is deceased, please don't write that in my chat. You continue to be scared to take your drama to him. You are pathetic. Well, what is the point of the spokesperson if not to bring this to him? If we know that Tony is the one speaking on the cease and desist, and Tony is the one that's out here speaking on behalf of Seth, then Trevor Lee did the right thing. You're despicable. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should absolutely be ashamed of yourself. Yes, Glitter, that's what I started the stream off with. Get that person pristine. So, of course, Trevor Lee responds, children name call when they don't have a point to make, but I digress. I didn't do anything to you, and this misdirected anger is very weird. I can't help that people don't think you're a good PR guy. I was simply sharing with you that I have no plans to cease or desist. You have been the person speaking about these letters, so I contacted you. Sebastian deserves a lot better than this, a lot better than your games. Absolutely. Look at the response from the professional. You're a very disgruntled little crybaby. Boo-hoo. I didn't have enough value to keep from getting fired. I didn't have enough value to keep from getting fired by a grieving father. You see, he knew you, unlike me, and thought you brought no value. No value. Do you know that Trevor Lee is the reason people even know about Sebastian Rogers? That Trevor is one of the first and main people to update strictly about Sebastian, not the drama, nothing else. That Trevor was boots on the ground. That Trevor was Seth's personal photographer until Trevor Lee deleted his Facebook channel, YouTube channel, and no longer was of use for them. He knew you, unlike me, thought you brought no value. You proved this point by stirring up high school girl drama on social media after you were booted. You are a child yourself trying to use another child for platform gain. Sad little guy you are. Let's talk about that. For platform gain. Do I? Do I talk like I'm 5? Well, that's cute. Thank you. Platform gain. You know, I've always told people, listen to what people are saying and what they're not saying. You'll get a lot more. The fact that he said Trevor Lee is trying to use a child for platform gain tells me that Tony here is using Sebastian's name for platform gain. Not only that, but if you think that Trevor Lee is a child, then why are you speaking to him this way, you creeper? You absolute creepy POS. Thank you, Emilio. Thank you so much. So that's the professionalism you get out of the team of Seth Rogers. This is the professionalism you get. This account here was named Fine Caleb Harris. 10.9K subscribers subscribe to this channel to help find Caleb Harris. And you know what Tony Rogers did? He took over the channel, renamed it, edited the about section, and deleted all of the family's posts regarding their missing son. How disgusting is this? Would anybody like to come up? And now he's using Caleb Harris's channel. Because you know why? You know what my opinion is? Because of what he just said right here, for platform gain. You have now used the name of 2 missing children for platform gain. Give me just 1 second. Now, Tony, we know the only thing you have a hard time, the only thing you find hard in your life, right, is keeping to your contracts. You couldn't even keep to the contract you made with a grieving father missing his child. You took over the TikTok account that this family built up to spread awareness on their missing child. And now what you're doing instead is spreading bullshit about JLR because your feelings got hurt. And you want to call Trevor Lee a child? You want to call Trevor Lee a high school girl? Drama stir? I hope they did. If they haven't, I hope they do now. I've never seen anything more despicable than a move like this. And you do this right after you show us all your wiener as you're peeing, right? Now, I heard there was somebody saying, well, that couldn't have been real. And that couldn't have been true. Because what was he carrying around, a green screen? Let me tell you all how this, how this works. Siobhan, welcome. Thank you for becoming a member. But here's the thing. You can feel that way, Kim, and I understand why you feel that way. Geez, you're going to keep coming back? This guy is so bothered by us. Make another account. You get here quick. Trevor, it has been speculated that Trevor Lee would be next to get one. So I understand why he would basically send a heads up of, listen, save your money. Save your time. I'm not going to stop. Thank you. So there are people that are saying, like, what did he carry around? It has to be fake because did he carry around a green screen and da-da-da-da-da? Well, no, but we'll go ahead and help you learn how that works. So basically it's built in and it's a virtual background, and we have them here on YouTube as well. When you go to make a YouTube short or, you know, it offers that, and you can tell that he was using a virtual background because he's the only one that doesn't have the circular avatar. So if his little peen popping out wasn't enough, well, let me tell you, that there should be your clue. So play you all Jay's video where he gives, you know, first he said it was his thumb, then he says it was this. Listen, everybody would let this go if he wasn't out here slandering people. He is threatening people's marriages. He's blackmailing people. Now you're threatening people with the FBI and criminal charges with your TikTok attorney. Please.
Some grief for Seth. You know, I can stay professional and I can stay above board for a while, and then after a while, then you know, I just lose my patience. And again,
the best is he's talking about staying professional, right? Staying professional. Thank you, Nice Star.
I told these people before that continue to cause trouble that there's a whole lot more that I can do to cause you grief than what I've done to this point. And if you want to push me, then
talk about instant karma. As you are threatening people, your little wiener pops out, your little inchworm, your little mushroom cap, your little baloney pops out as you're talking about professionalism and threatening people.
Push me.
And on Sebastian's Army page, and someone thought it would be funny to Photoshop or whatever across Tony's screen.
No.
To make.
No, they're saying that the people that received them called Sebastian, the P word, not Seth. And listen, there's only one person that did call Seth the P word that received a C and D. One out of the 5 or 6. So what I like here is Tony's going to go on to say how, you know, he'll send everybody the original videos, but they're going to have to come in segments, and it's just going to happen to miss the segment. Good morning, it's me.
It looked like he was showing something that, I don't even know how to address this because it's so childish. Like,
then address it like an adult, ma'am. It looked like he was showing us his wiener. Address it like an adult.
Oh my gosh. It's so freaking childish. But it was not Tony. He did not do that. It was not a slip up. It was not an accident. It was somebody playing childish games. And
he was in the lobby.
He was in the lobby, y'all.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they straight up show it on the screen.
Like, we didn't hear the flush and we didn't hear the tinkling. We didn't hear it all. Like the people that were live streaming it all somehow made this happen. And you know what else would be great? Not only were they able to Photoshop his baloney on the screen, but they were able to make the background noise sound like that of a bathroom. That is the back of his belt buckle. I finally saw it. I finally could see it as a belt buckle. Now they're threatening people that are commenting, taking screenshots and saying it's easy to find out who you are. Do we all need to do protective orders because of the threats? And lobbies don't have public bathrooms? You hear the toilet flush. You hear the tinkling of the pee. It's your pee-wee. We seen it. Right. How do you add that to a live stream?
trying to say that Tony was doing it on purpose.
I don't think it was on purpose.
We can guess.
But I do think he purposely took over Caleb Harris's TikTok for drama. Right, just apologize.
Okay, Sandra, that makes sense.
Just apologize.
I wasn't going to bring it up until someone else did. I mean, I know it's out there, but it needs to be addressed. I mean, that's the pettiness that we're dealing with.
Isn't it funny, too, how the lady immediately says we should stop? It's a new sound effect. So basically, people have done a great job of proving otherwise because they've gathered the several people that were live, stream sniping. They all had the same thing come up, unfortunately. And now he's threatening all of us with the FBI. Like, bro, it's not enough we just saw your little wiener on the screen. You traumatized us. Give us an apology and move along. I can't believe the audacity. So not only is this man a straight-faced liar, and he's going to try to gaslight all of us that we didn't see what we saw and that others are responsible for it, then he's going to threaten people with their marriage and blackmail that he's received from no other than Betty, scoring Betty over there. Then you have the nerve to get on TikTok and take over that missing boy's account for your drama bullshit? Disgraceful. Who is this clown? And he wants to talk about felons. Let's talk about it. You want to talk about felons and badmouth all these people for being felons and talk about JLR's background and threaten other creators with their background. Meanwhile, you're writing a letter to the judge for your felon friend, Nina Glass. You don't have a problem with felons. How many people have sued you? Let's talk about that. The health system, employment security, Michael, the Baptist Sullivan, Kim Mitchell, breach of contract, First Star Bank. How many contracts have you breached, Seth Rogers? Or I'm sorry, Tony Mathis. And is Seth Rogers aware? AC rent and possession. But what's most baffling to me is the church. The church. Lord have mercy. I wish Katie or Ellie would press charges against Tony when it interferes in investigation. Arrest him. Do you all recall last week Tony Mathis came out here and he gave information to Caleb Harris's case? Do you remember we played it? He said the phone was copied. Do you know that was false information that Tony gave? That was false information in Caleb Harris's case that Tony gave. And then, a church. Then to top it off, not only did you disrespect that family by giving out false information pertaining to their son's disappearance, but now you took over their TikTok. For your BS, you took over their TikTok so you could slander JLR. You wanted to be JLR. You tried to be JLR. You went to the Idaho 4 and you got your drone out and you took, the little footage of the house and took all the pictures like a fanboy with all the news reporters out there. And your way into the true crime community, because that wasn't your big break, was to latch on like the leech you are to these grieving fathers and then turn their cases into a clown show. And you want to talk about what other people are doing? Have you heard about this talk about a car at the end of... Yeah. I didn't know you talked about it a month ago, but yeah, I did hear about that. We can't validate it. We can reach out to Mr. Randy. I'm sure he has bigger problems, but hey, Miss Amira, welcome. I think it's a good idea to find out from Randy himself. How does he feel? How would you feel if you woke up one day and the TikTok account for your child to help spread awareness on your missing child was suddenly taken over by this POS for his drama so he could sling mud at other creators? How would you feel? if all the posts you've made to bring awareness to your child were all deleted, he should have just apologized, Apple Bottoms. He should have just apologized. Good morning, Tweety. So weird that he's going so hard on JLR. Why? Because JLR is everything this guy wanted to be, but will never be. Here's the thing. People were following Tony. They were following the Caleb Harris. Find Caleb Harris is what they were following. He knew people wouldn't follow him. So the slime ball, who in my opinion is simply looking for platform gain, had to take over that case, that TikTok, because he knew nobody would ever subscribe to him. An egotistical freak like him, you think he would make a brand new account and watch the numbers slowly go up, and most are only there to watch the shitstorm that he has created? Yeah, we don't know if he's the boss or if it's vice versa. I don't know. I don't know what legal action they would have. I don't know if they can do anything. But to do that is so brazen. But then again, this is a man who ripped off a church. Are we surprised? If anybody has any opinions, if you'd like to come up and share your thoughts, feel free to click that link. While you're at it, please hit the thumbs up. Let's get this out there to warn the next family, because we saw with our own eyes. We saw Tony Mathis trying to leech onto another missing child's case. We've seen it. And I think it is important that others are aware before they become his next victim. Intercepting tips by posting a phone number, other than TBI's interference. And what are his credentials, Snazzy? Thank you for that. What is Tony's credentials? He says it right here, Jem. You are a child yourself trying to use another child for platform gain. Platform gain. That's what you're after, isn't it, Tony? You don't give two shits about Caleb. You don't care about Sebastian. And you know what? We knew that. Because when you're sitting over there with your peen in your hand on TikTok, I've tuned in so many times, and I'll be damned, you barely mentioned that boy's name as you were under the Sebastian Rogers account. You don't even mention anything to do with him. Not any updates. You don't even share his photo, his details. You sit over there with your non-professionals. What kind of attorney is sitting next to you threatening people at the FBI because you showed your wiener? And you know what he did? You know what Tony and his camp did? Let me show you what they did. Instead of admitting they were wrong. Okay? I'm going to play this, and I want you to go over and give it a thumbs up yourself. This is the real one. This is the real TikTok. This is where he shows himself. This is the fake one. Can you point out the differences? I love these games. I've always loved to find the difference. Books. Let's point out the many differences. What do you all see? Well, I see the background's changed. But I'll let you all point out some things. What do you see different between the two? This is Jay for Justice that put this together. One is blurry. Okay. As a former PR, it wasn't me. May have been T-Rev, though, because he sent all his info and things he wanted out through T-Rev. The lies are crooked. It's not even he blur out the guests. You know why, OG Blaine? You know what my opinion is on why he did this? My opinion is he got up there and reenacted. He reenacted with whoever was willing to be part of his game. He reenacted it, and then he took the image the video where you wouldn't see a peen pop up, and he attached the original audio to it. That's what I think he did. It's exactly what I think they did. It's not the same people on panel. Thank you. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. You think that's what they did. They reenacted it, screen recorded it, and then they attached the audio to it. It's not even the original live icons. Thank you. Hey, Jake House. The squares are smaller. Girl next door agrees. The boxes aren't the same. Yes, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Mia Jen. A lot of ones coming up. Yep, they aren't the same avatars. The top rate is different. He got whatever 3 other people would be willing to come up there with him to reenact that. And then he attached the audio to it. And you know how else I know that? Because that's why the purple's there. That's what the purple is. The purple background is that. It would have been. An apology would have been easier. And guess what? Everybody would have been done talking. You think they're the same, just zoomed in? I disagree. Respectfully, I disagree completely. That's why the audio. And Delta admitted they were only playing the audio. He does. When somebody says we can't see the image, he says you don't need to see the image. Excuse me, Mr. Attorney. What? I object. That is the whole point of this. We didn't hear his, well, although we heard the pee and the flush, we didn't hear his little Willie speaking to us. So yes, the imagery is very much important.
Rogan? Let's get some Joe Rogan. We got lots of sound bites for this crazy shit.
This? And everybody's like, what the fuck is this?
They sound sped up, but they shouldn't be.
All right, so I just wanted to show that just so you guys can see the difference because this is his rebuttal video. So what you're looking at here, let me get rid of her chat. I just want to show you guys. It's straight from YouTube. I want to make it bigger. Kelly Mac, thanks for coming over here. Everybody who joined over here, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate you.
That's what I said. He might be able to insult the intelligence of those 2 a.m. TikToker girls. But this is the sleuthing community over here on YouTube, and you're not fooling us. You are not fooling us.
So let's get this off.
Look at the difference here.
And you can see at the top, it's actually, he's hosting right here. See Sebastian's Army 15. He's live with 236 people.
And that's why he took over Caleb Harris's. He didn't wash his hands. He could have muted his mic and turned, there's many things he could have done that he didn't do. And instead, he's now threatening all of us for having to see this. Well, and you know what, OG blame? I don't blame anybody, especially Jay, who was accused of starting this. I don't blame her for contacting the FBI right back with the original video. And if the FBI finds out that Tony Mathis sent them false information, well, there goes your PRing, sir. Not only have you been out here for the past month disparaging all the professionals, professional LE, professional news reporters, but then you're going to insult the intelligence of the FBI? I was going to say you got some balls, but luckily you didn't expose that to us.
In the chat, down below are the GIFs that you can give on TikTok. Okay. And that is the TikTok chat on the right. Just so we're clear on what we're looking at. So Tony is the big box on the left sharing his screen.
Tony.
And supposedly replaying the Pecker video. And then there's Delta and my friend Kjen on the panel as well. And this is Kjen.
Who's the supposed fake video started?
Jay.
Private, saw your note.
Jay. Right there, they're blaming Jay. Wait, right there. They're blaming Jay. Jay didn't start this. Dolly was live streaming it. Savage was live streaming it. Miss, what was her name? Miss K was live streaming it. Daisy's Farm was live streaming it. And they all made it up. How dare you? Just apologize. I had a creator once claim that I hacked her emails. Hacked her emails.
Jay. Okay, so here's Tony's rebuttal. Thank you so much, Shell, for your super sticker. I'm glad you made it.
You got one of those letters. It's been determined that you are not in the best interest of Sebastian or Seth. So just move along and find something. Thank you, Diane.
He's replaying it right now.
They're going to make it sound like it's every other reason but the actual reason for why they got it.
Yay, NFT, welcome in.
I won't be discussing who got the letters. I'm sorry, that's private. Saw your note, Tammy, about you did not get a cease and desist.
Basically, what you'll see here is that Tony played the minute before and the minute after. Why don't you go ahead and send out the originals, Tony? Then Tony said, I didn't even know about the originals. Yes, you did. 238 thumbs up with 914 in chat. Come on, people. We need a little more thumbs up. Might be the should be the only ups that we're seeing in this video, but unfortunately, we're going to see more, okay? We're going to see more. You know what, CBC? This whole like baloney gate aside, I can't get over, for me, I can't get over this. I can't get over this. Let's get back into seriousness for a moment. Not only did Tony Mathis come in and right away start bad-mouthing the Proudfoots, he started bad-mouthing the professionals, the searchers, the LE, Nick Barris, the law enforcement. Then he comes out, he gives out 3 key lies that led to false hope. Then he encourages Seth to send out these useless C&Ds. Then you show us your worm. Double down on that. And then overnight, you decide to take over the Find Caleb Harris's TikTok account. So you could put these comments about JLR up. He said he contacted the FBI, but if you apologize to him, he'll take an apology. And if you posted a meme, well, they got screenshots of it. We don't care. All you had to do was say you were sorry. Wouldn't have been the biggest deal in the world. You were using a restroom and you effed up. Apologize and move forward. You made up false Amber Alerts. That's right. Don't forget that. Gave a false phone number, a fake lawyer that only accepted checks in person for a trust that people couldn't get a hold of, and was arrested for theft. And then he has about 6 or 7 lawsuits against him. I think so as well. And I think that is why he couldn't handle that and basically take everything he said to Trevor Lee over here and send it back to him. He couldn't handle the fact that Caleb's family saw no value in him, that they saw him spending his time leeching on to another missing child's case and no longer focusing on Caleb. They was giving out misinformation in Caleb's case as well. So like the toddler he is, he went and changed that TikTok to his name. Probably feeling like, well, I built it up, so it's mine. Not caring that that was based around a missing child, somebody's missing son. Nina Glass collected money for her to get her car fixed, wrote a letter to the judge on her behalf, and then she never even showed up. Imagine if anybody went through. If I was Jay, I would be going after these assholes. Not only did you lie and say that she made this, but you're also threatening her marriage. Who do you think you are, blackmailing somebody? Who do you think you are? How's that working out for you so far, Betty? How's your blackmail and your fraudulent lawsuits working out for you, Betty? You are a very disgruntled little crybaby. You sure are, Tony. Right, Kim? Even right here, he slips up. Instead of saying you, he says, I didn't have enough value to keep from getting fired by a grieving father. Now, while I think that was a typo, he meant to write you, the fact is that's how he truly felt. He didn't have enough value to keep from getting fired from a grieving father. So Randy told him to pack his bags and kick rocks. What a sick thing to say to somebody who tried helping Sebastian Rogers. I don't, Nice Star, I don't care if he did or didn't. It's nobody's business. He's not married. He wasn't married. But you know who is married? Jay. And what a slanderous thing to put out. Right. I did not have enough value. It was a slip. She focused on Sebastian, loses her energy in a positive way. Smiles from Netherlands. That's true, Watermelon Splash, and I love watermelons. But I'll tell you what, unfortunately, this guy has turned. People can blame us creators. You can be angry at us all you want. The fact of the matter is, Tony Mathis turned this into a clown show. Tony Mathis turned both of these missing children cases into a circus. Tony alone did that. The Tubin effect, right? I mean, this is what he's spending his late nights doing. Switching over the account from Fine Caleb Harris to Tony Mathis. And insult to injury, he makes his photo him fishing. What is that, a catfish? Is that a catfish? You are a catfish, aren't you? True crime and exposing of criminal content creators exploiting families. We should turn around and make one just based off you. Put a 1 in the chat if you think Tony Mathis is exploiting families. I'm not ever returning BHB. BHB, did you hear her lose her mind the other day? Idiot, 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 idiot. Like, are you okay, Betty? You need a break, honey. I thought indecent exposure was a crime. I think it is, Becky. I think it is. Lots of 1s. You see that, Tony? You might have your little midnight 2 a.m. panel of TikTokers over there fooled, but the masses of us over here, we're not fooled by you. We can look and put a timeline together. And we can most certainly identify a live stream slip up. Seth could turn on the people that have been boots on the ground or people that have been mass spreading awareness. He kicked them to the curb. Why? Why? That is the biggest question. Why? The Delta lawyer called JLR fruity and another LGBTQ slur on the live yesterday. They're all gross, and anyone who follows supports them. Are you kidding me? So they're out here saying JLR is having affairs with married women, but then they're going to call him homophobic slurs. Are you kidding me? What a joke you are. And then to top it off, you go and take over Caleb Harris's TikTok account. Tony laid out a plan that would fund Seth's life, and he went with it. Well, this is how Tony's gotten his life. Do you all remember Tony sitting over there bragging to everybody how he lives in a waterfront $1 million house? Are you trying to teach Seth the way? Anyone else find it very sus that both cases Tony is on, both boys vanished in the middle of the night barefoot. He's run both cases and had need on both. It's also very strange. I love how he said the clip didn't come from the original video. I screenshot the original videos. They were discussing it, and the clip everyone posted is in that video. It absolutely was original. Nobody made that up. Whether you like JLR or hate JLR, we know JLR is going to take action. Absolutely. JLR needs to show Tiny Tony how this is really taken care of. I'm sure he will. He's not going to put up with this. She is. And she's the one that gave the gossip, the rumors to Tony. Can you imagine that phone call? Betty and Tony on a late night phone call talking about JLR and Jay? How pathetic. Hey, LA, you should be ashamed of yourself, Betty, for even participating in that. But we know you won't. You have no shame. You have no shame. And you know what's really just truly sad? What kind of cold-hearted person would do this? Hey, Jody. See? Hold up. Look what I just found. Who's going to apologize to me? Get ready for this. I wanted my Caleb Harris family in this group to hear this first. I received a phone call from Pascal weeks ago asking me if I would help someone in dire need. He asked me to help Seth Rogers. How many people said I was lying, that Pascal never put Seth Rogers and Tony Mathis together? How many people said that I started a rumor that was baseless and not true? I told you. I'm not stupid. I heard Pascal say it. oh, Seth, I got somebody I think you should be in contact with, and da 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 da. And the very next day, Tony and Seth Rogers are together. Okay? We're not idiots, TikTok Tony. And your little Burger King crown wearers over there. He asked me to help with Seth Rogers, Sebastian's father, with media and guidance. I've helped him behind the scenes for a while, but he continued to plead with me to help him in the way I've helped the Harris family. How the hell did you help the Harris family? You sure helped in the same way. After connecting him and Randy, it was made clear that Randy and his family felt for him and wanted me to help him. Oh, I'm sure they were probably like, yeah, please, go over there. Go over there. Caleb's case, let me be very clear. Caleb's case and my position with the family are my number one priority. Is it? Is it though? Is it really though? You are, Kim? On here? Let's get to that too. Did you guys hear that Tony's lawyer is part of the team? Why is your lawyer part of the team, Seth? Well, what do people get for being on the team, Seth or Tony? What do they get for that? Do they get platform gain? Do they get financial gain? What do your team members get? Until things start to heat up a bit, I have some time to help another father. Heat up a bit? We're talking about a missing child. Heat up a bit? What does that even mean? Heat up until things heat up a bit. There's also a chance that Nina Glass and her team may end up helping as well, Nicole Owens. Stop it. Stop it. Pascal, do you lead this ring? Is Pascal behind this ring? Because he definitely did not seem aware. Yes, well, maybe he should have done a lot more research before doing this. We are still trying to put the details together. Please add Sebastian to your prayers with Caleb as well as both of their families. Unbelievable. His team, y'all. Tony's not very religious. Well, he's definitely not because he ripped off a church. So, you know, he's probably not even a real lawyer. Well, listen, if that's a real lawyer over there, then he is one of the worst lawyers and is likely why he's on TikTok and not in a courtroom. Pascal stepped away after inviting the clown car to town. How could Pascal know that Tony would be so horrible? In my opinion, he thought he was helping. Griffin Pascal has been wealthy. Look at his credentials and past present work. All Pascal is guilty of is no research. Fine. All right. Fine. Let's say that Pascal didn't know. Okay. Right? He didn't know. We'll give him the pass. He didn't know. Why deny that you did it, though? We knew he did it. But luckily, this post comes up today showing us he did it. Oh, very interesting here. Very interesting, folks. All right, let's see what else we got. It's a shame that Seth won't denounce this guy. How many of you would be willing to give Seth a second chance if he denounced this guy? Maybe Seth got preyed upon. Maybe Seth, was a grieving father who was approached, Pascal. Look at Pascal's view counts. Look at people respect them. Pascal recommends this guy. So, of course, Seth believes the guy's a good guy. He's working with another family. He speaks to the other family. Maybe Seth got preyed upon. And he just doesn't realize it. No, you guys are all like, no, okay. Nope, all right. Well, then ask yourselves why. Why is he, why are you trying to silence people now? This poor kid, man. Oh, this poor kid. Tony has done nothing but give false information. Look at this meme. Don't waste your wishes, bro. Look at this meme. What is going on here? What are they doing? Is this Tony's doing? Pascal did not know the real Tony. I think he got conned. Con knows a con. Pascal's credibility. TikTok Tony was questionable, but not to the degree that he has become in this case. Seth needs psychological support, and he needs to regain credibility. I fully support parents. Did TikTok Tony do time in the place that Seth works? I'm fairly certain Seth's gotten too much in the way of monetary perks. So, all right, let's talk about that really quick. People didn't like the rumor, right? People didn't like the rumor that they were asking for money for interviews, right? They didn't like that. But what did we hear come out of Seth's mouth himself? That he is going to make a YouTube channel with members only content. Members only content. So he plans on monetizing off of this. Further monetizing off of this. We can't write that. Jojo B, unfortunately, we cannot write that like that. Again, glorified. Yep. Seth has also respect for me. Not that I had much. He has rubbed me wrong from the beginning. How much grief did we get over here, Straight Talker? How many people came screaming with their pitchforks? How dare you talk about that father as they're over there trashing the ever-living crap out of Katie and Chris? And now those same people, that's okay, Jojo, it's okay. Now those same people are coming around and they're trying to feel the water with their audience. Well, how do you all feel about Seth Rogers? Do you all think it's weird? Yeah, it's been weird. If appearances are true, then his mind was on chicks, money, off topic. I'm thinking he should go to work and make the money. Seth says his sister says is for living expenses should go to a reward. There's no such thing as coincidences. Assuming bites. You know it, NH. You know it. That's right, Mandy Mo. He seemed off from the beginning and people didn't like it. Tony is a grifter of the highest order. He is a wannabe professional who should really just go back to what he knows. Seth and the Proudfoots need to get off YouTube, period. None, Hummingbird. None. His coworker lost a child. And you know how much respect Tony had for that coworker and that coworker's child? This much. Right here on your screen. This much respect. And you know what else I find despicable? What happened to the original Caleb Harris account? Why is there only 2 videos here with a new name on the account? This page was created and got this many followers for Caleb Harris. Tony, you need to create your own page and put Caleb back on this one. That is why we followed this page. Find a new job. Take the armchairs with you. Really isn't a good look. This account is supposed to be about Caleb, a missing person, not who you want to dislike today. This is despicable. It's whoever he dislikes today, just JLR's turn for him to start ish with. Good on these people for calling it out. Do you know what else Tony said? Tony, who cares about victims and grieving parents. Do you know what else this piece of shit said? You ready for this one? This sad individual wants to interview the victims, the parents of Sandy Hook. Because he wants, not because he wants to ask them how it felt. No. Because he wants to ask them how they feel about JLR. You're demented. You are a high school drama girl. You, sir, are the one with the hurt ego. How dare you want to bother the parents of Sandy Hook to ask their feelings about JLR all these years later? You should be ashamed of yourself, but you aren't. You aren't. Sounds like you have lost your mind. What have you done for Sebastian? Every time I've heard you, you have been bashing others, not advocating at all. Facts. Here we go. We will be talking to some of the Sandy Hook victims' families about what he did at the worst time in their lives. He's a miserable human. There's plenty of proof of it. For anybody who doesn't believe me that Tony wants to bother the families of the Sandy Hook victims to see what their feelings are on JLR, it's right here. It's right there. Obviously, the wrong man for this job. The internet isn't for the weak, Tony. You've tarnished the case yet again. Worst PR person I've ever seen in my life. Instead of looking for the child, you're running people off from looking. No wonder Cal's family now wants nothing to do with you. And both cases are cold. Oh, you can buy his book and read all about it on Amazon, TTT. It's not a secret. People can change their life. Tony writes, goodbye and good luck. Goodbye and good luck. There, is that better? Am I not allowed to have opinions outside of all the time I spend volunteering? I don't judge you for judging a volunteer. I have no ego, Katie. You clearly don't know me. Are you questioning content creators getting paid to broadcast drama over a missing child? I'm curious. But it's okay for me and my family to be attacked? It's people like you that have done nothing to help, that don't see the hundreds of hours the volunteers put in. Hundreds of hours of what? Sitting on TikTok? Sitting on TikTok? This man has audacity. This man is disgraceful. The hundreds of hours. You came out here and joined on to this search a month ago, and you have done nothing but cause controversy and drama since. Exactly. Exactly. You know what? If JLR was smart, he would link his book to this. Make it a win. I can't. I can't believe this. We'll be talking to some of the Sandy Hook victim families about what he did at the worst time in their lives. You're going to make them relive the worst time of their lives because your little ego is hurt? Because you whipped out your little baloney on screen? The hours of volunteering. Has Tony ever been boots on the ground yet? How many times has Seth Rogers said, next week we're going to start a search? Next week we're going to start a search. How many times? And next week comes and goes. And there's nobody out there searching. When fathers takes 2 months off searching for their child after pointing fingers at Katie and Chris for following Ellie advice. Well, don't you know, Melissa? His shoulder from 1992 hurts. He took over Caleb Harris's Facebook account with his name, so listen to those followers' subscriber count. Caleb Harris' parents said that he diminished the integrity of the case. Where did the parents speak out? Let's see, where did the parents of Caleb Harris speak out? I would love to know what they have to say of this. I can't imagine how they feel. Can you imagine how they feel? I couldn't even begin to imagine. And Tony wants to talk about money. Why does it always come down to money with you people? Tony? Seth? What do you think? We're out here winning big? You sure as hell didn't mind them making money when the money was going to you, Tony, Seth. You sure didn't mind when these same creators were dropping your GoFundMe and your Cash App. You didn't mind then, did you? And I don't know if you realized yet, Seth, Tony, but even the panels that kiss your ass are making money, sir. Some could even argue they're making more. Because I know without a doubt, I rarely put on my ad revenue. I'm not collecting big dollars over here. But you sure as hell have over what, 30K plus? And then to top it off, he doesn't even go and search for his son after collecting all the money so he could? You know what's even more despicable about this? 6 days ago marked 3 months since Randy Harris didn't speak to his son, since his son disappeared in the middle of the night with no shoes on. And we all know the timeline of Caleb. And yet you sit over there with a homophobic, so-called attorney? Is that how you feel about Caleb, Tony? 6 days. 3 months. And the respect Tony Mathis had for that family and that anniversary of 3 months was this right here. This right here. For those of you who are unaware, Caleb Harris disappeared out of Corpus Christi, Texas on March 4th, 2024. He's 21 years old, 5'11", and weighs about 180 pounds. Cal was last seen at approximately 2:45 a.m. on Monday, March 4th, near his apartment complex, which is in the cottages in the 1900 block of Enos Jocelyn Road near the campus of Texas. He let his dog out, according to Snapchat ping. He left behind his vehicle, keys, and wallet. His phone last pinged at 3 a.m. that morning. He was wearing teal pants and a white t-shirt. You won't get that information from Tony. He'll never tell you that. But he'll tell you what JLR did 10 years ago. You know, when Tony sat over on TikTok the other day saying that Caleb's phone was copied, and I was asking you all how that happens? He knew that Caleb's phone wasn't copied, wasn't hacked. He knew that had to do with detectives. That the detectives were looking for forensics in that phone. He knew that. But he's out here telling you all as if it was some stranger on the street, as if it was going to lead to answers about Caleb. And Tony Mathis knew the truth. So they had to come out here and debunk. Once again, so they had to come out and debunk Tony's misinformation. In regard to the ongoing investigation into the mysterious disappearance of Caleb Harris, the police department are aware of some recent activity on Harris's cell phone that has caught the attention of concerned individuals following this case. Although this activity may give the impression that Caleb has reactivated his cell phone, detectives are confident that is not the case, but instead is simply the result of one of many investigative techniques currently being employed by the forensic examiners. But Tony wanted you all to believe that it was some groundbreaking movement. He knew it was the police. What are you doing, Tony? So Tony goes live under the Caleb Harris account, renames it Tony Mathis, goes live with his so-called attorney, Delta, and basically admitted that he's going to make JLR broke. That they are going to financially drain JLR through the legal system after calling him homophobic slurs. Apparently, he had a lot to say about QB as well. Underneath a page he hijacked for a missing child. No, Tony doesn't claim to be a lawyer. His TikTok partner, Delta, does. Have you seen videos in the prison? Only Seth said he was working. No one has any videos of him, even police, or he would be cleared. Caleb Van. How horrible is this? I couldn't fathom how this family feels. What are you doing, these people, Tony? I don't know. That's a good question. He, Tony, has his own GoFundMe fundraiser on behalf of Caleb Search, separate from the Harrises, is his own. Why am I not surprised, Pineapple? You know what I think? Based off what I was sent this morning, that shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about six or so lawsuits. Ironically, the same number of C&Ds you're sending out. Tony has been sued over and over for breach of contracts, okay? Breach of contracts, including from a church. A church this man ripped off. Do you think he has any problem whatsoever preying on grieving families? Checking my email now. What is it that he said to Trevor Lee? Platform gain? Is that what you're doing it for? Unbelievable. Anybody want to come up? You have anything to say? Feel free to click this link. What do you call criminals that try to hide evidence and lie about things in a serious case? Not only are they hiding evidence, I don't know if they're hiding it, but they're certainly giving misinformation. They're absolutely trying to stop people from searching. And they're first on the list. The first on the list to try to silence are the people that are boots on the ground. The people that are in the area, the people that matter the most. The people that are actually out there. But they're also the people that are closest, aren't they? They're also the people that have experienced Seth Rogers in person, aren't they? What are you worried about coming out, Seth? Thank you so much, Electro. Thank you. I like JLR Oak. I know some people don't. That's okay. I met the guy in person. I think he's a very nice guy. I think he's done his shit. He's fucked up. He's done crazy things. And I think he's turned his life around. It's not an easy thing to do. Tony was hired to have this case go cold. Oh. Ooh, Lovey, what a thought. I'd rather hate on JLR and support freedom of speech. Please don't let people get away with this nonsense. It's our freedom being taken, not protected. You know what's funny, Mad Jen? Particularly Betty. Betty's always screaming about constitutional rights and she believes in the amendments, and until it comes to her hurt feelings. Oh yeah, I've seen this one, Infamous. Hey.
Hey, what's going on? You seen that GoFundMe?
Yeah, we showed that one time here. Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's still active, I think.
My name is Tony Mathis, a very dear friend and co-worker of ours, Randy Harris. Yep. 24,000.
There's two different, so the parents have one, and then he created that one. He supposedly says that it's directly to the father, but I doubt it because he would be able to access it, I would imagine. You know what I mean?
Wonder, it does say the beneficiary, but I wonder, it says contact. Should we contact Tony Mathis? Tony Mathis said if you want proof of the original Wienergate, to send him an email. I feel like sending him an email.
He blurred out all the boxes, so he had edited it, and he didn't even play the right one where he actually because he says I'm above board professional. I can be an above board professional, and then that's when the little wang pops out.
Right.
And so the one that he showed, he doesn't show that. He plays it from 11 minutes to like right before that happens, and
Well,
then
and what
all the
he
boxes. Go ahead.
sorry, I got excited. What he also did is he already gave an excuse for why you're not going to get the full stream. And you're likely not going to get the clip of what you're looking for because he can only send it in increments of 10 minutes. So he's
Yeah.
already like
Okay.
making reason for why you might not get it.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's like if you that's what everybody's saying. If you accidentally you know what I mean, did it and didn't realize you did it, just cop to it, you know. But he's making it worse by doing what doing what he's doing.
right. Listen, it was
Making it.
an innocent mistake. I don't think the guy was sitting there playing with himself. I think he went to the restroom. He
Yeah,
made a
you can hear the
stupid
toilet
mistake.
flushing.
Right. Just apologize for it. Just say, you know what, guys? He could have even laughed it off. Like, oh, I can't believe that happened. I was peeing, but instead he first is his thumb. And now all these people made it up. Jay made it up. Dolly made it up. Now he's blaming JLR. I heard somebody
And
say last night, I believe JLR did it. How, you dummies? How?
and he's had that live had already happened 3 days prior before anybody even caught on to it.
Really?
Yeah, it was that live happened 3 days prior too, and then I don't know who caught it. Somebody caught it, and then they were like, "What was that?" Da, 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 da. And so the critters, the crime lady, the Daisy lady,
Yeah.
she has it streamed on hers. She streamed his TikTok, and
Yeah.
you could hear like a lot of the audio. And then I think Dolly was like the second one that made a big old. He was laughing and he was like, "What is that? What was that?" This and that, and then it snowballed from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Sad that
So
people
I'm
like
looking for the thing where the parents were talking. Yeah, because the parents were talking. So he has there's a article that I could send you in my email, but about about Tony talking about that we should raise some more reward money. That the local news people are they're diminishing. He said they're diminishing the integrity of the case, but the parents
Yeah.
also did say that they were no longer working with him because they would rather just work with the police because he gave out that phone information that he shouldn't have
I played
put out there.
I played all that where he said the police or the local news stations are like A or C and D. He wants A and B coverage and blah blah blah. But I don't see
Right.
where parents ever where they ever spoke against Tony. I don't see that yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for right now because I did come across it, but I've been coming across a lot of stuff, so I gotta just find it and I'll find it and I'll send it to you. But I just wanted to come up and just speak on that real quick, and I'll let you do your thing.
It's crazy, isn't it? What do you think of all
I
this though? What do you think at the
I
end of the day?
I think Tony's a scam artist, and he has a whole bunch of fraudulent check charges and all kinds of stuff,
All
like
types of
passing.
lawsuits
Yeah,
for
and
breaking
well, he has
contracts.
passing bad checks too, passing bad checks for like
Yep.
from I think it's like 100 to like past $800 or something like that. I don't know the total, but it's big. It's big amounts. Yeah. So
I
who
just
knows?
and it's
Go ahead.
absolutely despicable what is going on. And listen, Tony wants to sit there again and talk about felons and backgrounds and records. Tony, you are a felon, and so are your cohorts. Who are
Yeah.
you to judge another
Uh,
felon?
And then the TikTok Sebastian's Army, and they're like, oh, we're gonna gather a search. That's when they first started the TikTok. We're gonna, start a search team and this and that. And it never manifested. None of it manifested. He just started bad mouthing little by little, giving cheap shots here and there about this, about the Proudfoots, about this person,
Yep.
and it's just like that.
He
Yeah,
said gloves off.
yeah, exactly. And he's been doing that from day one. So they never manifested any kind of search party or anything like that whatsoever.
Unbelievable. It makes me sick.
All right, I'm gonna jump down and let you do your thing. I'm
All
gonna look
right.
for
Thank
that
you for
that
coming up.
information for you. Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye. Did you see this, Jay? Did you see that Tony Mathis took over the Find Caleb Harris TikTok account, put his name on it, and then wrote true crime and exposing of criminal content creators exploiting families? I just can't believe it. Hey, Nina. You're on here, Nina, but you have your mic muted. And then he turns around and says he's going to reach out to the victims of Sandy Hook to ask how they feel about JLR, because they don't have more things to worry about. Hey,
Hi,
Nina,
Jess.
are you there?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hi. I'm livid.
It's unreal, isn't it?
No, and the fact that TikTok Tony had to contact the FBI over his Wienergate, as if law enforcement isn't busy enough,
Right.
day after day. That
And Nina, he said he sent them memes. Can you imagine being the FBI agent that received Tony Mathis memes based off his penis?
I couldn't believe it. I mean, the gall. Who does he think he is? The delusion of grandeur that this guy has. He has such a chip on his shoulder.
It's sickening. He's egotistical, is what I think.
He is. I mean, he waltzed in, and I mean, it's TikTok Tony burning down the bridges.
You think he's leading Seth in this direction, or you think him and Seth are birds of a feather?
I think he's exploiting Seth. From what I see, I mean, when we never know what somebody is going through when they're missing a child, they're extremely vulnerable, and it's a time that it's very easy to take advantage of that kind of person. I don't know Seth, but from what I have observed, and from I think everything that what you have shown, what many creators have shown, he's an angry person. He has impulse control issues. We have seen him lash out. We have seen him not able to control himself. And it's pretty much why law enforcement won't give him any information. Because he's like loose lip sync ships.
How about Tony saying, we're going to give the police an opportunity to stick to their word? If not, what are you going to do, Tony? What are you going to do if the police don't stick to their word of being in contact with Seth Rogers?
Okay, I mean, how does he expect law enforcement to work with them when the first thing I saw, he did manage to get on some kind of a local news nation. And the first thing they go on is they criticize law enforcement for not doing their job.
Yep,
so they say, we demand the FBI to get it.
And the FBI was already involved, and they should have known that.
Exactly. And there's only so much that the FBI can do because this is a local matter. It's a local search. And they have so much misinformation. They're spreading false news that this hasn't been done. Houses haven't been searched. This hasn't been searched. When in reality, if you actually watch the press conferences from the very beginning, from the time that even before creators started picking up, I started going back through in time. There was so much that was being done from the beginning. If you listen to the 10-hour
you're starting to break out.
Calls. I mean, they were on top of it from the very beginning.
They were. They did everything they could do. And people were saying, when that neighbor came forward, and people were saying how weird it is that all these agencies came in right away. Well, it's not weird when the Amber Alert said that Sebastian had disabilities that would prevent him from coming home safely on his own. That's what they do. Why is that weird? You should be thankful, not side-eye it.
Exactly. But they immediately came in. I mean, Seth came in angry, and I think with the immediate blame game that probably stemmed, I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but probably stemmed from his, repressed resentment that had been going on for a long time. So now you start to see the narrative changing, but I think you sort of called it out from the very beginning about the double standard that was going on. And now people are starting to see that what Chris and Katie did, which is not speaking out, they were actually following what they're supposed to do, what law enforcement was instructing them to do, is to limit engagement with social media.
For this reason. And instead, ask yourselves why the hell Seth Rogers ever got a PR man to begin with. Why? And then to send out cease and desist, unheard of. Even Jennifer Coffendorfer said, stop with the circus, stop with the drama. Get back to the focus, which is Sebastian. When you got the father, the biological father, and his so-called PR man being the two that are putting all this drama forward, you have to ask yourselves why. People get angry. People come in here all the time and say, well, how is this helping Sebastian? And what are you doing to help find Sebastian? What is his own father and his PR man doing?
Yes, and I want to comment a little bit on the cease and desist. I mean, because there's quite a lot of different commentaries being made. I mean, first, a cease and desist is a pre-action notice when your legal right is being violated. Most of the time, it's used if somebody has infringed on your trademark, has breached your copyright. You would put the other person on notice and give them time to stop. Because it's also evidence that when you sue them to show that if they're continuing to use your trademark, they're in bad faith. So that goes into damages. And you would hire an attorney to do this, is to basically let them know. And a proper cease and desist would state the legal ground, the law that is being violated, state the actions that of what they're doing that is violating your legal right. And another word for cease and desist is a legal demand. And so you would make a legal demand, whether it's a retraction, whether it's the stop of usage of the trademark, and if it's a slander, you might want to a retraction, something along that line. But in this case, there has been no legal violation of Seth, and definitely not Sebastian. I mean, that is just out of thin air.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that, Nina? So, with your experience, if say I received a cease and desist, and Tony and Seth were over on other platforms and saying the reason they sent out the cease and desist is because people called Sebastian a pedo, right? Now, knowing that's not true and that's false, that is defamation at that point on the people he sent them to, is it not?
Well, if he didn't say that you stated it, and they're making broad stroke statements.
That everyone who received it is what they said. Those who received this because they did this.
But also, I mean, they have absolutely no grounds. I mean, you can burn the cease and desist and toss it in the garbage, because a cease and desist is also not a legal requirement by any means. And it can be issued by an individual, but of course it has more weight if it's written by an attorney. Now, I'm very suspicious as to which attorney has written this. People claim that it's a family law attorney, but at the same time, I mean, with how shady they have been, I don't even know if, this person's name has been falsely used.
Right.
Because no lawyer would write this type of cease and desist to say that images are being used without consent, because there's no image that has been copyrighted, that is used by a photographer who's an artist, who's a copyright. There's no legal violation, and from the ones that have been read out loud, there is no legal violation. And to then say that you cannot cover and raise awareness about a missing child case, well, that's the opposite of what you're doing. Now, on the other hand, we have seen cases where, in the Chris Watts case, where there's conspiracy and accusations of, for example, of Russo's being involved in the murder. Now, that would be slander. So that would be different. If they were to hire attorneys and to say, stop this, that would be a very different story. But I haven't seen anybody accusing Seth of having committed a crime.
Well, no, and I think people speculate, they think that maybe Seth was involved. Saying that, I don't think it's a crime either. It's speculation. You're saying, I think, you're not saying, I know.
And this is the area where I think the law and true crime, this is kind of the gray area, because it's not journalism, it's social media. So the law hasn't quite caught up to this.
Yeah.
You have to balance between freedom of speech and freedom of thinking. You're not a national television and where you have certain ethical standards of reporting and fact checking. Here, you're having discussions, and most of what I see would be factors as to why maybe Sebastian would want to leave the house because of the environment. And I saw Brittany J calling out Michelle After Dark, saying that.
Go back to Burger King.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I didn't get the calling out, saying that it would be a punishment for Sebastian to go back to
Katie's.
Seth. No, it would be a punishment.
Michelle. Okay, right. Sorry.
To go, because she made that statement. Well, she replayed a clip where he said that him going to online school would be a punishment for him because he didn't want to go to online schooling.
Right. So he wanted friends. He needed to socialize. He was good at school. He enjoyed school.
Yes, and for teenagers, isolation can cause a lot of anxiety. To not be able to see friends, to not go to school, have fun time. So if there's speculations as to this may be a cause of somebody maybe wanting to run away, or maybe, taking a walk to clear his head.
One second, Nina. 1 second. I do want to put out, it is official that Caleb Harris's family did fire TikTok Tony. So that's what's going on here. That's why Tony's being all, like a toddler, taking over the TikTok and throwing a fit, because they did fire him. So right here, here's what happened. The family of Caleb Harris fired TikTok Tony. They're horrified by his sick behavior online and want nothing to do with him. So naturally, TTT hijacked the Caleb Harris TikTok page, deleted everything, and changed it to his own name to rant about JLR. The end. Sorry, I just want to put that. And no, this is not Chris Ruff's ex, Nina. No. This is a friend of the channel. She's not the ex. Sorry. So you're right, Nina. So somebody argued with me, and they said, when you're tagging Sebastian's name, but you're just talking about his father, you're not bringing awareness to Sebastian or his disappearance. And I said, with utmost respect, I believe I am, because I believe these are factors as to why Sebastian would leave the house that night. I do.
I think there's a difference between, there's different layers, right? Putting his picture as the thumbnail versus a hashtag. I think it's different.
Well, and I also think it's different between talking about the father and his antics and his PR guy than speaking about other creators. I'm not tagging Sebastian Rogers and going on about Michelle After Dark or BJ or any of these creators. I'm telling you what's going on in the latest having to do with his disappearance. And I believe, personally, it all plays a part. I understand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's so much that is happening in this case, and it has captured so many people. And because I think people have really fallen for Sebastian. And when you see Chris and Katie talk about him and the things that he enjoyed, he seemed like a really clever child and lovable. You fall for him. He was into chess, playing board games, and you hear the stories. And it's infuriating to me that when Chris and Katie recall some stories and they laugh about it, they're vilified over it.
Right.
Like, you know, when they say things like, oh, you know, he was goofy, or you know, sometimes we talk about these stories, and my grandparents were the same way with me. My teenage years were awkward. I think everybody's teenage years were awkward, and we had funny
Absolutely.
stories that we laugh about.
Yeah.
And they were crucified when they were recalling some of the stories, and it was seemed as if they didn't do anything, even though they got Walmart to put up flyers nationwide. They spent money on billboards, and some of the creators who got the cease and desist were people who raised money to put up billboards. Were or the PI who were still searching were actually people who were concretely doing things.
Right. Well, you know, the fact is they did. They tried to chase off everybody who's local and was boots on the ground. And you have to ask yourselves why. Now, Lovey wrote a comment up here, says, now don't attack me, and I won't, but I also have another theory. Who wanted the limelight off them? CP and KP, maybe CP hired Tony to ruin Seth. That's impossible because I just showed you where or Tony himself says that Pascal put them together. Pascal's the one that got Tony and Seth together. So that would be impossible that it would be them.
I mean, it seems like quite a leap.
Right here. Now, look, the memes on that channel are hysterical. And what I found even more hysterical is the self-advertisement going on over there. So I saw that our lovely favorite, my fan that wants to wear my skin, posted her own video over here to try to vilify me, but it didn't quite work out. Didn't quite work out because the commenters kind of agreed with me more than her. But I did find that funny. I commented on it this morning and dropped a link to my channel and told them they can come listen to everything, not the clips. But yeah, so, you know, it's pretty pathetic when you go over to the Missing Child's channel and you're linking your own YouTube videos to try to get attention off of it.
I think
discussion.
Taking over that TikTok account is absolutely despicable. You can be terminated and exit gracefully. But I really think he should be called, you know, Burning Bridge Tony, because
look at this one. So you're saying you think that's my wiener, and after seeing all those stupid memes of me, there's nothing you can do to stop these people? This is hysterical.
Well, I think he's counting on the FBI to spend their time to stop memes on the internet.
Honestly, I don't even believe he contacted the FBI. I believe he was trying to scare people to believe he contacted the FBI. That's what I think's going on. Because he said, I contacted the FBI, but I'll take an apology instead, is what he said. Well, no, nobody's apologizing to you. Nobody lied on you. You did that.
And not only was there the toilet flush, there was also the green screen where you could see him removing his belt bucket too. I mean, his belt buckle too.
Right.
Yes, you can just Photoshop an entire live and, you know, the entire action. I think people are just that, you know, invested in Tony to play that kind of prank. I mean, that seems highly technical.
It's ridiculous. The fact that he would even, you know, go as far as to deny what we all saw and insult us all and gaslight us all, that what we saw didn't happen, and then try to blame it on another creator. And ironically, it happened right after he was threatening another creator in her marriage. So it's like instant karma got you. You're a clown. Everybody saw it. There's no denying it. Knock it off and own it and apologize and move forward. But threatening people with the FBI and telling people, you know, they need to apologize to you right now or the FBI is going to handle them. And Get out of here.
A good PR person is supposed to, well, okay, he's a PR nightmare, but I mean, what he should be doing is making sure that Seth is even keeled, present Seth well in a positive light, but instead they're like egging each other on. They're like working each other up to be like more and more angry, more and more audacious, and just less likable.
Oh, absolutely agree.
Sympathetic, and just becoming more villains and losing support. Just, all, initially, Seth was the one who had all the support. It was like if you were Team Sebastian, you almost had to be Team Seth.
Yeah, because you got attacked if not.
Exactly.
I absolutely love the memes over on this channel. They're hysterical. Look at them. Me and TikTok Tony went to get matching face tats, and the guy put 2 snakes on my arm. He said it was my spirit animal. They are clowning the hell out of them over here. I love it.
Yeah, and you
think the answer is? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely share the memes. And you were one of the minority voices in the beginning. There were a few creators who had the minority voices, who saw some of the red flags, but called out the hypocrisy. But the majority were constantly attacking. And when I watched, when I listened to Chris and Katie's interview, they gave Seth a lot of grace. They're like, okay, well, we might not agree with it, but but he's going through a lot too. That kind of thing.
Imagine going onto this page that has a lot of memes, far worse memes than any of my thumbnails, and crying to this page about my thumbnails. Because that's what she did here. Shamelessly plugged herself 4 days ago. Shamelessly plugged herself using my thumbnails. Look at the red marks. What does that say, Nina, when there's red marks? It means you watched my stream, right? So Brittany J is watching all of my streams, and she goes over here trying to get this channel to see how gross I am. But yet their memes are far worse than any meme I've ever made, ma'am. Sit down. Put your Burger King crown back on and let the adults have a conversation. The fact of the matter is we saw it before anybody else did. We were villainized for seeing it. And now the masses have turned and many people are starting to see what's going on here. And the fact of the matter is what's going on here is Seth Rogers and Tony Mathis are shady. They're shady as hell. She does want to wear my skin in LA, but this was crazy. And it's funny about it is the commenters were like on my side here. They're like, well, the dude's shady. Like, but I love it. I love the fact that she put that in this group that, like I said, has the most hysterical memes I've ever seen.
Yeah, what group? What is the name of this group?
The Disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. It's a Facebook page.
Okay.
Oh, they are clowning the hell out of these people. And it's great. I mean, it's great because we saw it. We knew it. And I'm so glad that others are now seeing it. And we can stop being bashed over here for seeing the red flags that were literally being waved in our faces early on. People may not like it. It doesn't feel good. It's not a fun thing to do. But if you're going to sit over there and you have no problem bashing the parents of Sebastian Rogers, the mother and stepfather, then you should have no problem when people point out the shady behaviors. Look, my baloney has a first name Tony, and then here's baloney. They're funny. They're funny over here. And she's probably sitting there crying over these memes. How could they make memes about this father? But this is a great group.
People who are really confident about themselves can kind of laugh it off and make a joke of it. I mean, all he had to do was I would imagine if Tony was the good PR guy, he would have laughed it off and he would have been like, what are you talking about? That was my thumb. I mean, clearly you guys have like vision problems. And then just laughed it off and move on to the next thing. instead of making this huge deal about it.
Yeah, I agree. He's like a little coward that can't handle that he exposed himself. And that's what he did. He exposed himself. Now, these are interesting. So this lady posted, I was looking over some older stuff back before Ellie became so hostile towards the media and public. Well, you got people out here claiming to be neighbors with inside information about the police, but okay. So these screenshots from the first press conference. So they found it interesting that the day 3 search map had a red dot on a heavily wooded area labeled marked 2:28, 1:18 p.m. There's nothing else labeled like that. Then a helicopter was dispatched to the area after it got dark. And then on 229, that exact area marked labeled as 228 became almost the entire focus of the search efforts. That is interesting. So did they originally find something that led them to believe he was here? Yeah, Mr. Tomato Head, you've held it down too. We sure, yeah, he literally exposed himself. These are interesting. Do they have a reason to believe this? I mean, look how wooded this area is. It would be so hard to find somebody. This is how much effort they put into search, and look at that. And people still think they haven't done enough.
I mean, the issue I really took in the beginning was the sharing of Sebastian's trauma, Katie's childhood trauma.
Absolutely.
All of the information that was none of our business, that should have never been disclosed, that is their private family knowledge, that was confidential, that should have never been put to YouTube. And that's what really bothered me from the start.
I agree. It bothered me as well. And what also bothered me was the amount of people that had no problem. Jane, thank you so much for the PayPal, hon. I just seen it. The people that had no problem making up rumors like Betty and BJ saying that Katie was drunk all throughout her pregnancy, and that's what caused his disabilities. They have no problem saying that, but then if you make a meme, a joke, they're losing their shit talking about how horrible you are to speak about a father that's missing his child, but they have no problem saying that about Katie. Like, what? That was the problem early on, is people chose sides and they ignored all the red flags from Seth. All of it, because Katie was the last to see Sebastian. So automatically she was labeled guilty in their mind. And it didn't matter that Seth was out here waving these big old red flags. They didn't care. They didn't want to see it. Here's another missing child, or she's a young adult, autistic in Tennessee. This is Lily Gray. She's 20 years old, 6 feet tall, 140 pounds, with blonde hair and blue eyes. She's also autistic and was last seen around 9:30 p.m. If you have any information, call Dixon County, Tennessee.
Well, then by that logic, that means every parent of every missing child in the United States are guilty of foul play, because they're all pretty much the last person who saw their child. I mean, how does that logic even compute?
I agree. Right. It doesn't.
And another thing that really infuriated me was when that was, I think it started with JLR was in the hospital with very severe condition, and Tony started to, because he was calling out Tony for all of his, well, to be fair, it's not just JLR, it's pretty much everybody, and law enforcement was saying all his misinformation was garbage, because he was just coming up with all these crazy misinformation that, oh, Sebastian was texting with Katie's mother the day before. All of this nonsense.
From a PR guy.
Yes, but first of all, the PR guy is not supposed to be sharing information.
Right.
I mean, it's for law enforcement to share relevant updates on the investigation.
Well, I still think they did that to force law enforcement to speak to them. I think they did that on purpose.
Yes, and look at how manipulative that is.
Absolutely.
It's dirty tricks.
look who
And
we're
it,
dealing with. Dirty tricks. We're dealing with, Tony, who has a very documented history of pulling dirty tricks. And then we have, Seth Rogers, who works with criminals. So he's aware of dirty tricks as well.
and so I think that's what he got mad was JLR made a tweet about Seth allegedly making inappropriate advances toward women during searches.
Which is why I think he sent Chloe a cease and desist, because we all know that it was Chloe was one of the women he was making advances to. And JLR stated that 2 of the women would be willing to come forward if necessary. And I think that's why they sent Chloe a cease and desist. There's no other reason for it. She's not on social media.
Yes. And that was something that Illuminati confirmed as well, because she did meet him, and she was in Tennessee in the beginning during part of the search. And she did also confirm seeing firsthand this type of behavior.
Yeah.
But anyways.
And then we played videos of him making inappropriate jokes to searchers, to volunteers.
So that's when Tony started to make a threat about JLR's health, and saying, "Come for me. I have a file on everybody," threatening to dox people and all of this. And this is when I think the feud really escalated to another level. And JLR basically responded when he came out of the hospital and showed the book that he wrote about himself. He said, "Oh, you think you have something on me? Well, I'm an open book. And here's my book. You can purchase it on Amazon."
Yeah, yeah.
And so there was this kind of tit for tat back and forth that was going on for a while.
This is very interesting. So this lady brings mention how in this interview, just 5 days after Sebastian went missing, his teacher said he's very smart, very high functioning, and someone who would appear typical, and you wouldn't be able to tell he had defects at all. Such a different picture than what I believe a lot of us imagine based on how family members have described him. I agree with that. And here's the interview, and I totally agree with that. What do you all think about that? The fact that the family on one hand comes out and tells us that Sebastian was like a 10-year-old. And then on the other hand, we have this.
He always was smiling.
That infectious smile.
Oh, Sebastian, a ray of sunshine.
You've seen his face on billboards, all over social media, and alongside this week's news headlines.
He's just a fun-loving kid.
15-year-old Sebastian Rogers, former teacher, and others know that smile well from the halls and classrooms at T.W. Hunter Middle School in Hendersonville.
He has a great sense of humor. He loves people. He loves animals. So talented. He's extremely smart. He's just somebody that you would think is very typical, and you might just see him like walking around and you would have absolutely no idea that he had any type of deficits at all.
Sumner County officials say he's now been missing.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that? That is well different than what we've been told. I mean, here's his own teachers. And again, he didn't want to do online schooling. He didn't want to do it. He enjoyed being in school. He's a ray of sunshine. He's smiling. He's smart. He's capable. What do you do with that?
Well, chess is not easy. And if he's in the chess club, I mean, it shows that he's highly intelligent.
Right. Well, you have his own teachers coming out here and saying as much about him. I don't understand. Like, why are we being told differently? On one hand, we're being told he was capable of staying home alone, till 12 to 16 hours overnight. But then on the other hand, we're being told he has the mentality of a 10-year-old. Let me see what she
heart
says
just
here.
sinks. And
Sebastian for 5 days.
Immediately, your heart just sinks. And
Sebastian's 8th grade teacher says while he's very high functioning, she's worried about him.
I'm just in a constant state of prayer.
As is the rest of the community, as they watch search efforts continue to play out. Sumner County officials have spanned thousands of miles and called in a dive team to find him.
So it's heart-wrenching, and we just keep praying every day for a miracle.
Where is he? This is so sad.
It is very sad.
What do you think? What do you think, Infamous? What do you think of the fact that on one hand, he's being described as an autistic child incapable of taking care of himself, and on the other, we get this. What's
Right,
going on?
exactly. Well, I think too, and then how you said that, like was being, how Seth said that he would leave him when he'd go to work, so 12, 16 hours. He goes 12 hours, but then it would be a 16-hour shift. And he said sometimes he would be outside waiting for him. And I was like, well, maybe he was just a typical boy and he was out there exploring and then, knows when dad's going to come home. And then maybe, I mean, possibly, he did go on his own and he felt he was big enough and maybe he tried to do that at mom's house and kind of took off because he was home alone at night at Seth's house from what I understand.
Yeah,
so he could have just been a typical boy just wanting to go explore and whatever the case may be, and something else transpired, and that's why I think that we should vilify all these parents because and obviously they're not, the law enforcement is not going to tell us the things that they know. They're not going to tell us 100% everything that they know.
Oh,
they're going to just tell it.
But
yeah. So like,
based off
go
what
ahead.
we're hearing and seeing, I believe some of the parents deserve to be villainized. And if you're out here and you're telling the public world about your son's teenage, and we don't need to know that shit. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So they come out here and they're the ones that put out, I mean, the stuff we know about Sebastian on a personal level that we have no right to know came from his own father. And I think if he has no problem painting his son in that type of light, I have no problem painting him with that type of light.
No, that's you're absolutely correct because I feel that he plays the victim and then he wants to be the hero. And then he talked about getting rid of his dogs and then he told Sebastian, well, you should have, from what his words, he said that that he told, because he goes, where are the dogs? And he goes, well, you were supposed to feed and water them.
Right.
So basically trying to put it on him that it's his fault the dogs are gone, that he gave the animal away.
And then what was really sad about that, good morning, Rhonda and traders. What was really sad about that? Well, one, you got everybody attacked Katie for getting rid of the cats to have Chris move in. And with utmost respect, was Katie not supposed to progress further in her relationship so that Sebastian keep his cats? I mean, it's not a fair. But then you have Seth over there who got rid of the dogs for what reasoning?
And he said they had a lizard or something too, and that it got scale rot or something too, So it's like,
and then he blames Katie for that. But yeah, like,
and
you're right. So he put on Sebastian, well, you haven't fed them or gave them water for 2 weeks, son. And then poor Sebastian's like, oh, running to go do it. And he's like, oh, well, I already got rid of them. You're right. He's blaming Sebastian. And then he was what at that age? Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, I just feel like he plays this hero and victim. He said I gave the lady the dog and her dog died, and like he was being the hero, and then he turns around and says that he told Sebastian, well, it's because you didn't feed and water him, instead of saying, hey, we couldn't take care of him, we gave this lady the dog because she missed her other dog, or saying something like that versus
but he also
something
told
else.
all of us is because the dog would walk Sebastian, not Sebastian walk the dog. Well, then why didn't you walk the dog, Seth? Until Sebastian was able to get the control of them. You don't just get rid of puppies because the puppy was too strong for your kid. Then you do. I mean,
it's like you're giving and taking, from him. And if he has, any kid would be upset, and especially if you make them feel like it's their fault. I mean, that's traumatizing for a kid.
Great point. SS just had a great point. I love how Seth says he didn't notice for 2 weeks. Like, bro, he only came to your house every 2 weeks at best.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah, exactly.
Nina, you're about to say something. What do you think of that?
It's very traumatizing. I mean, for me, being a pet lover since I was a kid, the taking away of animal, and especially when you learn that Sebastian was really into agriculture and really was looking forward to the school he was going to go to later because he was interested in farm animals and chicken. He loved cats. I mean, he seemed like a very intellectually curious kid. And we don't know during those 16 hours if he's wandering to look for animals, to look in the woods. I mean, we have no idea because if you think about it, I mean, Seth may not knows Sebastian
I
that
don't think
well.
he does.
Way.
I don't
Yeah.
think he does. And I think when he says my son never eloped, which means going outside, that you're exploring, but then at the same time, you're telling us how your son would be in the driveway waiting for you to come home. Well, then he did go outside the home. And you don't know what he did for all those hours. And he sounds like he was a curious boy. He sounds like he was very interested in, like you said, agriculture, animals, all that. Maybe he was leaving outside the house to go explore.
And I just, I also think too, like, when he gets home from work, I mean, you can't tell me that he stayed up all day, he probably rested. So that's even more time of him. And he was alone a lot. He was alone a lot when he was over there at Dad's house.
Yeah. And when Seth was home, their activity was gaming. Whereas when you hear Chris and Katie, they were playing board games as a family.
Yep. They were either gaming or watching movies. They both had matching recliners. But then you're right, with Katie and Chris, it was more like he was doing chores. They were doing homework. They were doing board games. They were playing chess. You're right. There's such a stark difference in the.
And how is he supposed to? Yeah, and how is he supposed to have him do homeschooling if he's not going to be there, or maybe be asleep so many hours out of the day because he's got to go to work the next day and do another 12, 16-hour shift?
You're right.
It just, it doesn't make any sense.
And then when that was pointed out about him leaving Sebastian alone, the fact that they turn around and especially Seth says, well, Katie left him alone. Sebastian would come home
for a couple hours,
during the day, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about a 15-year-old boy being left home alone after school for a few hours until mom gets done work. That's normal.
And she's before the sun goes down, probably.
Right. Leaving a 15-year-old boy home overnight for 12 to 16 hours isn't so normal, especially when you're the one that told us he had the mentality of a 10-year-old.
And then he said there were frozen burritos and all that stuff in the fridge. But Mom said when she was, recollecting memories and stuff, that he liked weird things. He liked tofu. He liked baby Swiss. He liked.
Right.
Yeah. She's all stinky cheese. I didn't want anything to do with it, but he liked stuff that was different. He didn't like the average things another 15-year-old would like.
Burritos,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then how weird was it when Steph said, I hate this word, but food and snacks. Who the hell hates the word food and snacks? Like, he's just a strange character.
Yeah, I think he's got some anger issues. Yeah, definitely regulation with his moods.
Emotions, yeah.
The part I didn't appreciate about Tony and Seth, and this is why they're matching so well together as, egging each other on, is so when JLR called Seth out, Tony took to his TikTok and went on, how dare you attack his grieving father and do this to him, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, but let's turn on, he's like, you should never speak ill of a grieving father. And then, but now let's talk case theory. What do you think about Katie? Because she's the last one who saw Sebastian.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, hypocrisy at its finest.
Yeah, and then he started divulging some of her stuff, her personal business about, and then he talked about making her sit in the back of the truck because she didn't know how to drive stick and they had a baby. So like a lot of the stuff that he was spilling out was very hateful and ugly and just stuff that we didn't need to know.
And it was bizarre. It was asked, is Sebastian coming to live with you? Was that a punishment? Because, of course, everything that person that hosted him, every question she had pertained around things I have said, which cracked me up. So she was solely thinking about me with Seth Rogers, probably, sitting up there waiting for him to come up, giddying herself over it. He comes up and she's thinking about me. But the question was it punishment for Sebastian to come live with you, Seth? And he goes back to some story about, Katie in the back of the truck and it was raining. I had to tell Katie it's raining, but you got to sit in the back. Well, how disrespectful is that to the mother of your child? The car seat could have sat on her lap for a minute. You should have gotten a different vehicle the moment your son was born. And then he tells us all what a great guy he is and that come back up. He sprained his wrist by changing the brakes.
And then I just wanted to add to is the way Katie, and then if you think about all that stuff and you just said in hindsight, all of everything that's kind of been put out there that's not our business, but how Katie was real like reserved, like and quiet and stuff, because she was psychologically, mind effed, abused. So the psychological effects of abuse is so much longer lasting, and it's so hard to recover from stuff like that because it's trauma, and you will voice, or somebody talks to you a certain way, it will trigger it.
Well,
You know?
it is different for everybody, but what's sad is we shouldn't even know that. Like, that's not even something
Right.
we should know,
Right.
especially.
But I'm just saying that's probably why she was so reserved. She missed, her son's missing, first of all. Second of all, like if she went through all that other stuff that he's divulging and whatever, I could only imagine that's why she was like quiet and kind of more reserved.
I agree. Hey, Just Me, Karen, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Jess?
Good, thank you. Welcome to the panel. What do you think? What do you think about all of this?
It has become one weird show. I don't think that Seth really, he doesn't know anything about Sebastian. When you ask him when you think about Sebastian, he goes back to when Sebastian was 7 or 8 years old in California. He couldn't tell you anything about now. And this Tony
exactly
guy.
what I've been saying. I've been saying exactly the same thing. He doesn't know his son in current times, which is why he always goes back to Kelly.
Right.
Years ago.
And this Tony guy, he looks really creepy to me. He looks like a demon or something.
He does have an evil look to him. I mean, truly, the guy has he radiates bad vibes.
Yeah. And the first week that this happened, when Sebastian disappeared, I was like all the others. I kind of suspected Katie and Chris. It took me one time seeing Seth to totally change my mind. I was watching the day that JLR showed up, and he interviewed him, and then he was out looking in buildings and whatever. Seth, I mean, not JLR. And he would get up there and he'd call his name, and I thought, there's something so fake about this guy.
Oh yeah.
And everybody keeps saying, I don't know why LE doesn't tell him anything. Well, he don't know how to keep his mouth shut. Anything he knows on anybody, you can bet it's going to be out in the public before long. And
they're watching. I'm sure they're watching some of these, these streams and these panels, and I'm sure that they're keeping track of it.
Oh yeah.
I know without a doubt that Tony and Seth are aware of this channel. I know that without any doubt. I know that they have tried blackmailing somebody to stay off my panel. So I know they're aware of this channel, which is why I'm shocked I didn't get a cease and desist. But the fact of the matter is this is a guy who turned around and took over the Caleb Harris TikTok account, put his own name on it because the family didn't want him working with them anymore.
He seems to dip in and dip out fairly quickly from Caleb's case to this case, and now he's going to dip out and he wants to go do the Sandy Hook people and re-traumatize them. That's insane.
We saw him trying to prey on another mother whose child's missing by saying it's very similar to Caleb's case and to reach out to him. And somebody actually responded back to him and said, I think you had your hands full, So CBC says, I think SR, Seth Rogers, no sister's advice, should go to work. This money's not reliable or stable. Next TM, I don't know what that means. Oh, get rid of Tony Mathis. Seth Rogers doesn't have skill set, energy to search or homeschool. Create 25K reward for leads. Others will donate. When Seth Rogers was homeless, zero money helped by his family. That's true.
Yeah. And then he talks about how he doesn't have. He goes, I don't have hardly any of that money left, or whatever he was referring to, like saying that basically it's dwindled down to nothing. But he hasn't. I don't think that he's applied anything towards the searching for him. And like I said, Tony Mathis and them had that TikTok. We're trying to start a search thing supposedly, but it never transpired.
Well, here's my thing. Where did that money go? I mean, let's be honest here. We can all see what we can see with Seth Rogers, especially me. I'm in recovery. Where did almost over $30K go in this short time?
It sure didn't go in the gas tank, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And I'm thinking too, a lot of the mood swings. some of the mood swings and stuff, maybe, because he says he needs surgery or he needs to get an MRI or whatever the case may be, maybe it might be like pain medication, like, do you know what
Yeah.
I'm referring to? I don't want to outright and say, this because I don't know, but the mood swings, the constant fluctuation of, his moods and stuff, that he goes from one end to the other in like 2 seconds.
Well, I have a grandson that's he's autistic, high function autistic. The only thing that I can tell anything different about him, he is funny about what he puts in his mouth. He's very sensitive to texture, and he'll have a meltdown every once in a while. But other than that, he's highly intelligent, I think. I could be.
Most autistic children, they're like our little geniuses. It's just they have so much going on, they can't like separate. It's all at once.
Well, that's how his teachers described him. First off, Jet, speaking of teachers, thank you so much for sending that for my daughter's graduation. I appreciate you. Thank you. But the teacher said that Sebastian appeared typical, that you wouldn't know by seeing him that he was autistic. And I believe that's be true. She said he's very high functioning. He appeared like your average typical child. And I believe that.
And I've noticed that a lot of the Seth team would jump on where Katie and Chris would say, he's so goofy. Well, I've called my kids goofy, my grandkids goofy. They have a sense of humor,
right,
and they act goofy to get a laugh. I knew
He
what
mocked.
they were.
Yeah, he mocked. Sorry, I apologize. Go ahead.
Oh, you could tell by looking at him. He is a joker.
Right.
You know.
He's a goofball. He's silly. That video.
And he mocked Seth mocked Sebastian. He made. I'm not going to make the noise, but when you put your finger between your lips and you go kind of make that noise.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, he mocked him, and that was wrong as well.
I heard that.
Yep, he sure did. He said he's not sitting there peeing his pants like like a real piece of shit. He sure did. And if you look at that video that Katie gave to Clue, and it shows Sebastian at the game being all silly and having fun. I mean, he's a silly boy. So what? I call my kids goofy all the time. They're goofy. That was not an insult.
They're teenagers. All teenagers are goofy.
Well, all kids are goofy in general. They get their silly moments. The way the cats get the zoomies. I always joke with my kids that they get zoomies. My son gets zoomies, But the fact of the matter is, his own biological father came out and tried to make that a negative. His own father came out here and tried saying that all Katie and Chris have done is make fun of and mock Sebastian, when that's not true. It just didn't happen. But he's so focused on bad-mouthing the Proudfoots, and Tony's so focused on bad-mouthing the YouTubers. Who the hell is focused on Sebastian?
Yeah.
No, and some creators were just, picking apart everything that Chris and Katie would say. Oh, I would never insult my son like that. And, these kinds of things. But I think what was really sad about this case is that from the very start, I think Seth was speaking to a lot of creators that created bias against Katie about some kind of foul play when there was no evidence of that. And to me, these kinds of things it started harassment against them. They couldn't leave the house. And so it amplified the negative campaign against them that, they're not out there searching for their kid. They don't care about their kid. So it was, a hate mob. It was hate mongering. And that was perpetuated.
By the biological father. He picked
and people were driving by their house, and that's why they didn't want to be at the house, because people were driving by constantly and walking through the neighborhood.
Drones, and this is what I really didn't appreciate. I don't think that we should be vilifying, but I think that we can criticize the behavior of the way that one parent treats another.
Nina, do you
both
have
do
YouTube
the-
on in the background? Because you have a slight echo coming from you. Sounds like YouTube's in the background. I'm with you. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want you to fix that so we could hear you better. Because I really enjoy what you're saying. I think you're right.
I'm gonna jump down, okay?
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to tell you to look at have you looked at the Justin from TikTok with Tony Mathis interview?
No, I haven't.
Check that out if you haven't check that out, because he goes, I'm not a professional. Like some of the things that he says in the beginning where, it's totally contradict everything that he's transpired to be.
Oh yeah. And that's been confronted from the beginning. Trevor Lee said that to him. You're a makeshift PR guy. You're not a professional. He's not by any means. Nina, you were saying about vilifying the parents. My thing is Seth Rogers fed into vilifying Katie and Chris, in my opinion. He took great joy in doing that. And he loved the spotlight of being deemed the perfect father, the perfect husband, the perfect everything. And now that's slowly caving. It's falling apart. The walls are falling in on him.
And not to mention, he loved the pity and all the money that went with it.
Yep.
It's true. Eventually, he gets unmasked.
It was hard to hear you. What did you say?
I mean, eventually, he's been unmasked. His true color showed out. The sympathetic father, all the tears that he has shown on camera. Eventually, his true colors showed out.
Well, did you notice that every time he puts his foot in his mouth, he comes out suddenly the grieving father, like almost immediately. So foot in the mouth, and then he gives some hallmark type of statement pertaining to Sebastian.
Yeah,
I know. The guy can find the spot.
On that video on TikTok where they tried to fake to hide the they kept his mods kept saying it's TikTok. You can't change or edit your TikTok. Well, then right at the end they said somebody edited it. But I thought they need to write down what they're saying so they can keep their story straight.
You're so right. That is how they started it. Nina, do you have YouTube on in the background?
I don't.
That's so weird. There's a small echo coming from you. Yeah, that they did say that you can't edit, and the next thing you know, they edited it. That was a live stream. I mean, if Tony will come out here and lie to us about that so straight faced and have his little group, his little fan base over there lie with him, what else will this guy lie to our faces about? I mean, he's lied since he's joined this, but what else is he going to lie about?
I heard his wife was really upset over it, so if he could lie to his wife, he really don't mind lying to everybody else.
Exactly. I agree. I think I know what it is, Nina. Do you have headphones in?
No.
No? That's so weird.
Is it better?
It's like every now and then there's this weird noise and then like the echo of us, but it's not too much that it's throwing it off. I just really, I want people to hear what you're saying, because for one, you're not somebody who normally speaks on things like this. Two, you've witnessed this in other cases, and you're not somebody who like actually hates Seth Rogers. Like you're just, you're not as like me. I can't stand the guy. You hear, that's what I'm hearing, something like that. Like, yeah. Okay. Hey, Truth Not Feelings. Thank you occasionally, good Tara. So, all right. So just me, Karen.
Yeah.
What do you think about the fact that Seth is sharing so many personal details about Sebastian and then telling people to shut up? What do you think of that?
I was wondering if Katie could not get a gag order against him to make him shut his mouth. Because when Sebastian comes back, because I believe Sebastian's well. And like Seth said at the very beginning, I know where he's at. He's playing video games. So I think Seth knows where he's at. But his personal business does not need to be put out there, because when he comes back, if he don't see it now, when he gets 18, he's going to start looking through YouTube. He's going to see his name and start watching those videos, and it's going to actually break his heart that his dad got on public media and downed him that way. Of course, I wouldn't doubt if he didn't get down that way while he's staying at his dad's house, just like he said, grown men don't wear diapers, and made fun of him for wearing pull-ups.
And then he went on to say that men wear boxers. Men wear boxers, son.
Right.
Hey, Lucia. Hours with our kids, pay attention, favorite, don't look good. Wait, I love teachers, but help you spend 8 hours with our kids, pay attention, favorite, don't look good. She requested a court order. So Katie could request a gag order. It goes to say a lot that Katie's not doing anything like that. Katie could have came out here and threw Seth under the bus, but I think they had a feeling that he would do it all on his own. I mean, this is somebody that Chris and Katie have dealt with. They're aware of what he was doing, and they knew that eventually people would see it. And I think it speaks volumes that they still don't come out and badmouth them.
I'm probably the oldest person in your chat. I'm 71. I have 4 kids, 9 grandkids, and I've got 5 great grandkids with one on the way. I have seen a lot. I've been through a lot. I know a lot. I have seen so many people. I've dealt with people like Seth. The pity, I think that's what I recognized when he was looking for Sebastian that day, was he knows how to play the crowd. And like you said, when he puts his foot in his mouth, he comes out with this pity, Hallmark tale about Sebastian to get people to forget what he said before. And I don't know. He really needs a sock in his mouth, and to keep him from talking. I thought when Tony came in, my first thought was, well, good, a PR man will make him keep his mouth shut. And I'll be darned if Tony ain't as bad as he is.
Yeah.
If not worse. And I'm really watching JLR with excitement, because he is hanging on every word that Tony says. He's building him up a court case. And when he gets tired of all it, he's going to take Tony to court. JLR well known for suing people.
Oh yeah, he's not going to put up with Tony slander and well, it's not really slander; he is being factual, but he's not going to put up with it.
Right.
Tony is no match for JLR, and he's really a rookie.
I agree. He has no idea what he's getting into.
No, I mean, he's really an infant, and he has no idea what he's getting himself into.
Nope. Well, people keep talking about, and just like Angel Chips here, people keep saying how Seth appears to have like a stunted, maturity level, right? And I know some people won't like what I'm going to say, and I'm sure our favorite Burger King crown wearer is going to go ahead and clip this and play it. But the fact of the matter is, being in recovery, a lot of times as addicts, your mentality does your mentality growth does stunt. And unless you find recovery, you go through the steps and everything, a lot of people that are addicts will find themselves at the maturity level at which they started the addiction. So if you start at 15, if you start at 17, 18, and I think what we're seeing with Seth Rogers is addiction. I think that Seth intentionally went and said that his shoulder got hurt because he knew Nancy Grace was giving him a polygraph. They were going to ask if he was on any medications, and he was going to need prescriptions to show those medications. I think all of it was convenient timing. And I just don't believe that an arm surgery, first off, your shoulder hurt is not going to prevent you from looking for your child. I don't know why anybody takes that as an excuse for why he's not looking. It is not an acceptable excuse. You can walk, your shoulder is not preventing your feet from moving. They're just not.
Well, when he was participating and he got his, all those people with boots on the ground, he was driving around in his truck looking for places they could go search.
Right.
And
he wasn't searching.
And I believe he was trying to keep them off of a certain trail. And I think what's happening now is people are getting too close to the truth. So,
Oh, so you're saying Seth would actually seek out the places for the searchers to seek?
yeah, to keep
So
them
he
away from
directed the search?
I think so.
That's
You're
weird.
bringing something
Wait,
very interesting here because you said you think Seth knows where he is. He
yeah,
did say in a clip before in the beginning that he knows where Sebastian is. He just doesn't have the means to get there.
He
yeah,
did. And then
Do
he
you
made a
remember that?
comment about the homeless encampment. Then he made another comment about just not having the resources, heading towards more money. And when he was confronted on that, he denied ever saying that. So
right.
yeah. I don't know. Seth gives me vibes. I don't know if he knows where Sebastian is. A part of me hopes he does, because then we know that Sebastian will be reunited and he's okay and he's safe. But if he doesn't know where he is, he sure as hell makes himself look guilty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Are mature. Wow, that's true, Wayne, isn't it? That is true.
Somebody. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I may see it a little bit differently. I agreed when Chloe didn't want him searched, and that was one of the reasons that he wanted to fire her. Is that parents shouldn't be out there searching. In case that they do, in the worst case scenario, that they discover the body,
Right.
a body. Okay, this is a worst case snenario. You never want the parent to do that.
Right.
There's forensic evidence. There's, they will end up immediately going to touch the body, mess with DNA, all the evidence.
But
So
I
you
don't
never
even believe that. I don't believe that that the reason he fired Chloe is because she didn't want
No,
Seth searching. I
no,
don't believe it, because first
no,
off,
of
he
course not.
fired her entirely later on, and I think it was because, as we've been told, he was making sexual advancements towards Chloe, and she turned him down. And I think that's why he sent her a cease and desist, out of fear that JLR was going to have Chloe on to share her experience. I don't believe it, because Seth was never searching. So why would he care if he would have loved that? Oh, I can't search because Chloe's telling me not to search. He would have loved that excuse.
Of course, I agree with you. But in the beginning, when she was first fired, that was one of his complaints is, she's not listening to me. It's my team. It's my this. I run the, she's
not giving me the
investigating.
tips.
She's not letting me search. These were some of the things that he was saying. And I'm saying that she's actually giving him good advice not to be on the ground with the search team.
She's a professional.
Yes.
She knows what she's saying and doing, and he didn't like that. But then another thing he said is she wants to do background checks, and he doesn't care what shoe size they were at birth. But then his buddy Tony's over there saying he has everybody's backgrounds. Rah, rah, rah.
No, he has doxing information and, to expose people and blackmail people. That's something completely different.
Right. Yeah, it's weird that he got rid of all the professionals for these makeshift professionals that are nothing but con artists pretending that they're professionals.
They all have criminal backgrounds too.
Right. They all have criminal backgrounds too. So when they're printing out mine or JLR's, are they printing out their own? I mean, put yourself in the pile too there, buddy. The fact that they're sitting on TikTok doxing people on the TikTok account made for Find Caleb Harris. Thank you,
That
dude.
is a disgrace. And that shows, that he is the opposite of a professional.
Yeah, he's a spiteful son of a bitch. He's a creep, is what he is.
He is.
And Jen, I see what you're saying, but the police even did it. The police went back around the same time frame. Sebastian has supposedly left the home, and they said no cameras picked them up either. I mean, you heard the neighbor say you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. It was so dark. So how are we supposed to see a kid on a neighbor's door that whatever that's diagonal from the house. You'll never see that. I'm not surprised cameras didn't pick him up. Am I surprised cameras didn't pick him up the next day when it was daylight? Am I surprised the searches didn't result in anything? Absolutely. I believe that the image going around of a car on the property was absolutely a car on the property. I believe it was a flashlight, and I do believe that that car picked up Sebastian.
Yeah, I agree with that. And he was dressed in black for a reason.
And he left his shoes for a reason. Did the person who was picking him up tell him, "Don't bring your shoes"? I have a pair for you. And who would know that? Who would know that his favorite shoes were just gotten rid of? And
I have asked the question, and I saw someone in chat a while ago ask it too. Did Seth not say he gave Sebastian a burner phone, and told him not to or keep it hid?
He said he was going to. I don't know if he ever gave it to him, but he was certainly going to.
Okay, because I was thinking, Seth said he called him and they'd talk or they'd text. He could have texted him and said, told him to come out, that they were going to go fishing or whatever. And, because he said he did take him fishing at night.
Well, what kind of father does that anyway? Sneaks a phone to their child and Seth purposely, again, in my opinion, undermined it. Oh, that's a bad echo there. Just me, Karen. I think you have YouTube in the background playing. Completely undermined Katie and Chris as parents.
Yeah, I
did everything to spite them.
Right. I don't have anything planned.
Oh, it was just a really loud.
YouTube on at all.
What? What'd you say, Nina?
I say I don't have any YouTube app open.
Oh, I don't know what that was then. It just came back really quick. It was just a quick echo. Seth got angry when he realized certain creators were making good money on talking about Sebastian. He wasn't getting many donations anymore. He even said that T-Rev was not searching. Right. Well, he also claimed T-Rev made 20K. I highly doubt anybody made 20K covering Sebastian. I will say that, yeah, a lot of, I'm sure T-Rev did make more money, but Seth added to that by going on the panels, and he had no problem with the money coming in through T-Rev's community when it was going directly to his Cash App and GoFundMe. So, I mean, not for nothing, but if we make money on here, that's what we do. I saw people today saying about the ads. I rarely ever put ads on for you guys, but I'll be honest, with my daughter's graduation, her 18th birthday, and my son's birthday just passing, I could use the extra revenue. I'm not going to lie. So I put ads on today. I'm sorry if you have to watch them or, skip past after 5 seconds, but, we are here to make money and to get views. I don't know why people put such a negative spin on that.
Right.
Did you hear when Seth talked about the reward money, how complicated it was going to be to set it up? Each of his GoFundMe, and one is under his sister's name, the other Cash App is under someone else's name, and he was going to have to set an account through an attorney to create. I mean, basically, it was so convoluted that you couldn't follow anymore.
And I think he convoluted it on purpose. So instead, it was easier just to send it to his Cash App or GoFundMe instead of the reward fund. Just made it easier. Well, you know what? First off, this is the first I've heard that T-Rev paid for hot dogs and drinks. And thank you, T-Rev, for doing that. That is very ungrateful of Seth. I think that's a great thing that T-Rev volunteered to pay for the hot dogs and the drinks for the visual. I think that's a great thing. Why would you make that a negative? Again, we're going to still be YouTube, before your son's disappearance and after, we're still going to be here. I'm sorry. And Seth has no problem when he talks about he's going to start a YouTube that's monetized.
Hey, what has Seth paid for? I mean, we have creators who've paid for billboards. We have, people getting, we have the Proudford, contacting Walmart, getting Walmart nationwide to put up flyers when they were accused of doing nothing. They contributed to the billboards. There's a list of, more billboards being created and funds for billboards. I mean, besides him driving around and taking videos of driving around and then firing every professional.
Right.
Where has any of the money that's been collected go to?
What does it go to? It goes to nothing. Dick Tim and Miss Missabula, I can't say the name correctly. Thank you guys so much for the super chat. I wasn't trying to make you guys, it wasn't like that. I'm just saying people do complain about people making money. And it's like, well, you know, but I do appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. No, I can't believe that he would complain that he did that. What has Seth contributed to? Like you're saying, Nina, where has all your money gone to, Seth?
And now he's silencing people for even raising awareness. Because before it was, at least share it on your wall, on your social media, share the Amber Alert. And then remember the Google tip line? What happened with that? They only wanted their own Google tip line.
Send tips directly to them. And at one point, he was telling people, don't donate to the reward fund. Instead, here's my Cash App and here's Terry Lynn's Cash App. I don't know whatever came of that. I'm not, not my Terry Lynn's part isn't my business, but I found it weird. And you're right. How many T-shirts were sold? Yeah, where's all that going? I don't have the
there's
link.
The merch.
Yeah,
that is very strange.
Yeah, he did. He personally contacted all these people for help, and when the well dried up, my opinion, the well dried up. And now he's complaining about these people making money. But again, he didn't mind when the money was going to him. I have no idea what's going on with the Cala Fund. And we did play those. We showed those over here. He's despicable. The way he talked to Trevor Lee was despicable, but it said a lot. You're trying to use another child for platform gain. Tony's doing this for platform gain. Everything with Seth always goes back to money, money, money. It's weird. It's weird.
And mind you, there was a part before when there were complaints about Tony calling Seth in the middle of the night about what's being said on YouTube, rather than filtering information and trying to shield Seth from negative media. That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to make sure that Seth is shielded from this, so that he's even keel, so that he's calm, so
that's what his job is, right? But instead, he's waking Seth up right when he falls asleep to tell him that people are saying bad things on the internet. And Nina, I figured out what the rebound noise coming from you is because your device volume is too high. So we're hearing the mic, the speaker through the mic. I got it now. Just for next time, just so you know. And it is a true debacle. Just turn it down the volume on your are you on your phone?
I'm on the laptop, so I just turn the volume on the laptop.
Oh, the laptop down a little bit. Yep. Hey kid, I hope you have a good day at work. Yeah, see, that's what it was.
Jess, I'm going to jump off here, and I really thank you for the opportunity to get to come on here and relieve some of my pressure.
Oh, I love it. I love having people come up. I love hearing what you all think. It's better to hear it instead of seeing it written. You're limited there. So I really appreciate you coming up, and it was really nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to see you too. But Clue sent me to you.
Oh, thank you.
And I will give her kudos for those billboards.
I absolutely agree.
And so I'm going to jump off and let y'all have it, and maybe we'll get to talk again sometime.
I hope we do. Come up anytime. It was a
All
pleasure.
right, thank you, Jeff. Bye bye, Nina.
Yes, bye-bye. And I'll jump down too, but thanks so much for introducing me to this case.
Nina, I love your input on cases. I do. I feel like we've gone through so many cases together, and it's like the Chris Wass case, and there's so many. I just love when you come up. You come from a professional manner. I love your insight. So thank you for coming up.
Yes, I really believe that Sebastian's out there, and every day I just can't wait until we find him, and somehow, and it's just so frustrating to see adults behave in such childish manner, and to see, and I'm really confident. I really believe that law enforcement is working hard. And just to see the the people who have really good intention out there being constantly slandered, defamed, and discredited. It's really sad, and everything that's going on is sad, and yeah. But thanks for keeping raising awareness, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Nina. I hope you have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Hey, Artist Creek, welcome.
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
Y'all are up
doing?
early.
I
I'm
know.
all right. I know. I turned on my phone. I was like, "What are they doing? What? It's 8 o'clock. What the fuck?" I was like, "Okay, yeah." So hey, you have a really nice chat. I just wanted to kind of, I appreciate that. Like, I go to a lot of different channels, and sometimes if you like comment something, you get jumped because they're like, "We saw you at Dolly. We saw you."
Of Overlays has joined the panel.
That's
Ooh, awesome.
me.
Okay, hey, I'm gonna let Queen of Overlays take it. I'm in the car and I haven't started it yet, and it's like 105, so I'm out. Okay, just have an awesome day.
You as well.
All right, bye bye. Hey, knock me off the panel if I can't get out.
Okay, Tawanda, you're an idiot. Go back over to fucking Perplex and shut up. The fuck out of here. How you doing, Jay?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I wish this was fun in my lifestyle. It's not fun in my lifestyle by any means.
Right?
I wish it was, though. That'd be great.
Well, I was just going to say, I was just listening to you guys talking about, everybody wants to complain about money all the time. It's always their go-to, right?
It is. And
But,
it's like, what,
I wouldn't blame you if you put ads on every day. I mean, I don't even think that's something that needs to be explained when that's an option on YouTube.
Right. And what do these people think? We're getting like $10 every person that watches an ad?
Oh, I know it. It's
pennies.
ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's like more like you're lucky if you get $10 for 1,000 people watching.
Exactly. It's like 10 cents. Chill out.
It's really not. But anyways, the reason I wanted to talk to you, I just sent you an email, and I don't know if you wanted, what you had planned for today, but I found this interesting. Last night I caught this press conference, and I hadn't heard about this missing 12-year-old out of Georgia. And I saw the press conference. It's not real long. I emailed you the link to the YouTube video, but it was really interesting to see a week and a half in, this girl's been gone, and the things that they're doing compared to what they were doing with Sebastian's case. Because we all kind of thought it took a turn, right? Like a weekend, they're at the landfill. They're no longer, asking people to pass out fly. They're not asking for the public's help.
For Maria right here?
No, for Sebastian. But in this one, they've got a reward through law enforcement. Law enforcement's offering and printing out flyers. I mean, it's just like the stark opposite. So I thought you might find it interesting. And I wanted to get your take on it. Like if you see any, big differences in how it's being handled. I know it's a different state, but the GBI is involved in this case. The Georgia Bureau of Investigations, the sheriff's departments, all the same, Homeland Security, it's all the same, but they admitted that she was on social media. They admitted that they're scouring her social media accounts. So it's kind of interesting. I want to get your take on it.
Well, it's funny you say that because there was another little girl missing out of Tennessee, and I believe it was Hendersonville, and they actually, the community together, put together a $20,000 reward, and it was absolutely completely different.
Yeah, she was found, right? That's the one that was found?
Yes.
I saw that too, and I was like, wow, what a stark difference. But yeah, it's just interesting to see like what these other agencies are doing compared to what they did in Sebastian's, because I think there's a reason. I don't think it's because they're shoddy. You know what I mean?
Well, did you see the after the neighbor came out, people went back and looked, and did you see the headlights from the suspicious vehicle and the vehicle parked with the whole ruckus video?
What? Are you serious?
I'm serious. Well, you saw the ruckus video. I gotta admit, I was like, she's nuts. I don't see any ruckus, but now that like
you do see the ruckus?
I do see it now. Honestly, I do.
Now I'm starting to question the ruckus. See now.
And now others are starting to see it. Like now it is being so bedtime.
How crazy. Well, you know why? Because there was so much debunking of it that seemed believable at the time,
Right.
We didn't really know a whole lot about it, but the more that's come out, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, and now that, the neighbor has come out and said there was a strange vehicle and that it wasn't a trash truck, it was the flashlights.
And that damn car sat there for 3 to 5 minutes too.
Yeah. So look, if you come over here to crime, what is her name? Bed Crime Stories. She shared your video, and she also put it together with videos that are on the Facebook page, and it does make sense. Like the video makes sense.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah,
I
it's
haven't
leaked
seen
videos
that.
from security camera locating the house, and she shouts out your video.
Dude, I love how everybody is like working together and putting things together and not fighting.
Yeah, because look right here, those leaked videos show a fight, and it's your video.
That's wow. I'm gonna have to go watch that. Bed Crime Stories. She's come up on my feed before.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go watch those.
Never paid attention to her either. But so let's show this. Well, this.
Yeah, you know what? You're gonna have to fast forward, like, because it starts way halfway through. It's pretty short.
That's how they usually do these, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
This is actually really sad. Why are so many kids?
And you can play it on fast speed because he's pretty slow. It's Georgia, and I can say that I'm married to a Georgia boy.
I can't stand slow talkers. I always have everybody on 2 speaks. I'm such a fast speaker.
Well, when you played my video earlier, I forgot I had it in fast speed as I was editing, and I saved it that way. And I'm like, oh fuck, I sound like a chipmunk.
Did you see me check my thing twice? Because I thought I had you sped up. I'm like, what's going on?
I thought you were gonna slow it down.
It didn't even dawn on me to slow it down. I'm just like,
so funny. You're like, yeah, I can still understand it. Fuck it.
I didn't find a neighbor. I found a neighbor to be more gossipy than factual, but each their own on that. Yeah, there's a lot of missing kids, and especially out of Tennessee. I'm seeing you're saying Virginia, but Tennessee has a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see. So this is sad. Maria Gomez Perez.
Hello, thank you for coming. I'm Captain Greg Cochran with the Hall County Sheriff's Office. That is GREGCOCHRAN. Very shortly, I will be introducing to you Sheriff Gerald Couch, GERALD COUCH. He will be providing information on updates to the investigation concerning Maria Gomez Perez. Sheriff Couch.
Oh.
No, thanks to everybody for coming out this afternoon
and
helping to spread the word about the disappearance of Maria Gomez Perez.
Why are they zooming all up in this man's face?
You gotta love the media cameras.
Gosh.
Thursday, May 30th, 12-year-old Maria Gomez Perez was reported missing to our agency. That report set into motion a large law enforcement and community effort to find Maria. We are all doing everything within our power to bring Maria home safe and sound. And make no mistake, the men and women of the Sheriff's Office and numerous other agencies have Maria's image burned in our hearts and into our minds. In the next few minutes, I hope to accomplish the following. First, I want to share with you information about who all was involved in this investigation and a little about the sheer size of the team working to find Maria. Next, I will talk about what this team has done since the initial missing report while still protecting the integrity of the investigation. And after that, I'll address frequently asked questions as well as ways that people can help in this case. And to wrap it up, then I'll take a few questions at the very end. First, the who. To say that there are many people involved in the effort to bring Maria home is an understatement. The Hall County Sheriff's Office is the 4th largest full-service sheriff's office in the state of Georgia. That includes our Criminal Investigations Bureau, which is made up of approximately 50 team members. All of them, all 50 have touched this case in some form. Most of them have worked double time since Maria was initially reported missing.
And this is a weekend.
Yes, a week and a half in.
Wow.
So it kind of tells you like what the FBI, because I mean, regardless of what state it is, the FBI is going to basically do the same job, right?
Right.
So it's interesting to hear what the FBI did for them.
That's crazy. I think
these include not only our Crimes Against Persons section, but the Special Investigations Unit, our Intelligence Unit, and also our Crime Scene Unit. And additionally, our Patrol Division, our K-9 Unit, our Warrant Service Unit, our Administrative Staff, and our Court Service deputies have been involved in this effort to locate her. To our team, I want to say that your tireless work is greatly appreciated, and I'm proud of each and every one of you. Our team is talented, it's experienced, and it's driven, but Maria deserves all the help that can be provided. To that end, other law enforcement agencies have offered their assistance, and I have welcomed them to our investigation with gratefulness. Men and women of the following agencies and entities have offered invaluable help, and they continue to work with our people here at the Hall County Sheriff's Office. Those agencies are the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Gainesville Police Department, U.S. Homeland Security Investigations, and also the Consulate General of Guatemala in Atlanta.
Wow.
And a tremendous effort from our community groups, business, and individuals across our county. Just on the investigator front, the FBI has provided 12 personnel, Homeland Security contributed 6 agents, and GBI gave us 4 agents, bringing the total number of investigators on this case to roughly 70 people.
Wow.
Including several intelligence analysts And if I've missed out anyone, investigator or otherwise, I apologize in advance to everyone involved from all of these agencies. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now to the what. Without jeopardizing the work we've already done, I want to outline what type of efforts we've put into action over the last several days. Early on, we began disseminating our tip line and the email address that we have for information. Since publicizing this contact information, we have received approximately 50 tips, including bringing the total tips nearly to 70. Each one has been thoroughly examined and acted upon, and we ask that the community continue to use this number.
You know what's a shame? If this case was trending on YouTube the way Sebastian's did, they would get well more than 70 because they get so many false tips based off psychic readings and
Yes, you're so right.
It's a shame.
What did Sebastian's got over 300?
Yeah.
At one point? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. I heard that 70. I'm like, damn, that's not
That's
very many,
low.
but
No.
yeah, but because we're used to the exposure.
Social media didn't taint this one yet.
And this contact information is located on the bottom of the flyer on the screen beside me as well. If they have any information whatsoever to let us know. Our team and other investigators have physically been on scene at Maria's residence on numerous occasions, starting the day she was reported missing. The latest search there happened over this past weekend and included the aforementioned FBI agents. Work at the home has included interviews, forensic examinations, electronics, and canines, which were
Forensics at the home.
Mm-hmm. Could that be like internet routers,
Yeah.
cameras, physical evidence?
Sorry, Sian, it was me. And do you think they did that?
Not me.
It was me. I tried pushing all lightly. I was typing all slow, so it was quiet, and she still heard me. Did they even have forensics come into the Proudfoots or Seth Rogers' home?
Well, remember we saw the agents outside with that Pharaoh thing? So I'm thinking that they did. I'm thinking that they did, especially if they went back there 10 times.
Right.
That's a lot of times.
And Chris Proudfoot did say that his family members' houses were also gone over and everything. He said more than once.
And I believe that. I really do. I think that they would get warrants for everybody's house that
So
is
do
nearby family members. I mean, it makes sense. Huh.
So you can, if you listen, you can hear Tony unzip his pants.
Oh my God. And dribble. And fucking dribble. Ugh.
I can't believe he said that was you.
Right. I even added the sound effects too.
Right. That's what I said. It'd be one thing to do like the overlay, but then to add the sound while he's speaking, that is talented.
The toilet flush, I made it not too loud.
Right. The unzipper, everything was perfectly great job. I can't believe he hijacked though the California.
Oh, I know. I was gonna mention that too. What the hell?
That is so despicable.
It really is. I mean, that's a new low right there.
And then to say he's going to reach out to the Sadie Hook victims to get their opinions
Just to disparage people.
Right.
He takes over. Wow. It's
unreal.
I mean, I've never seen anything like this ever.
Ever. I mean, this guy who's a PR comes out and says gloves off to the Proudfoots, gets Seth Rogers to put cease and desist. I believe he's part of it. Blackmails creators, blackmailed T-Rev, Trevor Lee, and then, quite frankly, all of us by claiming he has all of our information. Mm-hmm. Then he's blackmailing creators and their husbands, threatening their marriages, basically. And then he goes and hijacks the Caleb Harris page. It's like, what
gets rid of all the professionals, all the people that were the original volunteers.
All of them.
Raises money for his Nina's truck.
Yep.
I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm thinking about putting together a compilation video.
That would be a great idea.
Like in order of, like in chronological order, what he's done since he's taken over the Sebastian Rogers case.
And in the past month, too. Like this is all done in 30 days.
When did he come on board? Was it mid-May?
It was.
God, it feels like it's been the whole time.
And he also, with, what was something big he just did cross. Disparaging Nick Perez and Ali. Like who does that?
Everybody official.
Right.
Anybody and everybody. Don't trust, LE because they won't talk to Seth. Well, there's a reason they're not talking to Seth.
I mean, yeah.
I just think it's funny too that he's been trying to nail down that Banfield interview for how long now? A month? Nailing it down. We're still nailing it down. Good Morning America. What happened to that?
Right. Well, and what happened to them searching too? Let's not forget Tony turned this visual, which apparently T-Red bought the hot dogs and drinks for. I think that's commendable. But he turned that into a meet and greet to come and meet and greet him, and they didn't even search.
I know.
And then he also, not only did he raise money for Nina's glass, or was offering to, but then he went and signed a letter to the judge to help her get time off of her sentencing.
And then she didn't even come.
She didn't even show up. She got the money and left like a true criminal.
Right? Unbelievable.
Oh, I can't believe it. I know. That's what I said, Lee. That the irony in him saying he's a professional and threatening creators at the same time that he exposes himself was like, it was poetic justice.
Oh, I know.
Like so
I just said this morning, I said, people that receive that instant karma usually deserve it.
Well, did you hear that he has all these lawsuits for breach of contract?
No, today was the first I heard of that.
Yeah.
Like
So
civil suits?
Yeah, I was sent them all today. It's like the first bank, first Tony, and his wife. She's named on them.
Credit cards or what?
I don't know. I don't even really know how to entire case file. Judgment in favor of plaintiff for $20,000 plus interest plus cost. Breach of contracts, what most of them are. I mean, he even ripped off a church.
A church.
Yeah, a church. Like, who does that?
Wow. And is all this in Oklahoma? Like the church? Is it local to him?
Yeah. So apparently, if you put his name into the Missouri court system, he's been sued over and over for breach of contracts.
Missouri. I thought he was in Oklahoma.
Yeah, these are coming up from Missouri, and we know they're definitely him. First off, the person that sent me them, I trust without a doubt. But they also name his wife. So what are the odds that there's a Tony and Dana somewhere else?
Oh, there's not. He also said he grew up in Joplin, Missouri, near Seth.
Oh, well, that's funny. That's where the location is, Jasper County, Joplin.
Yeah, that's where he said he grew up. He said that in one of his videos. He was like, me and Seth didn't grow up far from each other. We probably ate at the same restaurants.
Well, I wonder if they ripped off the same insurance companies as well.
Oh my goodness. So there's 6 of them?
Yeah,
6 lawsuits and 6 cease and desist.
Yep.
Huh. You got
That's
3s and 6s.
Maybe that's why he moved from where he was, because he kept going before the same judge.
He moved over the state line
to get away from his convictions or his judgments.
And what is with Missouri with this case? Like that Sergeant fake Amber Alert was Missouri.
Yeah.
There's been several Missouri references.
It does make you wonder, doesn't it?
Gary said he has a couple of jaywalks.
Jaywalks, so he might. Who knows? Gary.
Oh man, Gary, that's funny.
Him and Seth grew up together. He sure did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And most of these are around the same date. So they're like 2000, 2001, 2003.
They're older.
Yeah.
Deputy Michael Skaggs.
This person even got him for AC small claims for over $100 for like air conditioning.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's back before the electronic age when you could scam, and I think they might have still been if you paid like for an air conditioning repair, they might have had that slider across that did like the carbon copy for your credit card. And then they get back to the office and they're like, fuck, this didn't go through. And then you try to get a hold of the customer and they're like, too bad.
It sounds like that's what he may have done. Now
you can't get away with that shit now. If it doesn't have, if it hits your bank immediately now.
And what year was his credit or his check frauds?
See, I don't remember, but I did see those. Those were older too.
Those
were older.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have to be older. Nobody writes checks anymore.
Right.
But
wait, they do.
That's right.
Attorney for the
reward.
reward.
For the reward fund. You can go ahead and write, checks there.
He'll have your account number and your routing number and your name and address.
How creepy.
Unbelievable.
I mean, how creepy that he's telling people that if you email him, if you send in a tip, if you're a creator, they've got all your backgrounds. Like, nobody's going to send in tips if you're researching everybody. That's so stupid.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I'd even click on a link that he sent me to download that fake video.
No, I know.
I feel like it's almost like bait. I don't trust these people.
Right, because who's going to ask for the videos if not people like us over here? On
Exactly.
Exactly. It's the
We're the
TikTokers.
only
You're like, okay. You're right.
Exactly. No one else is going to be asking for it except us. So I would advise not to. We all know it's not doctored.
What a joke. Oh
I
my
mean,
goodness.
And then he talked about another thing that creeped me out. Sorry, I know we're watching this thing, but when he said, oh, we're getting all kinds of emails from encrypted emails.
Yes.
And he's the one that emailed me with an email that said null. And he thought it would hide it, right? And then someone joined my Patreon with an encrypted email through Apple.
Yeah,
and I'm
put a one in the chat if you think that was Tony that just so happened to join the Patreon under encrypted email after he tried
the
and failed
same day as
miserably.
the peen. The same day I made the peen on June 10th.
And with your Patreon, they get into your Discord, right?
Exactly.
So he's trying to see if his peen's in the Discord, I bet.
Probably.
Looking
yes.
for the memes to report
and to
to
see
the
if
FBI.
I'm calling him a PO.
Yeah. Well, I can't even believe
What is
that.
she talking about?
I can't believe that they're saying, right. So you're like the third or fourth person they just threw out there out of thin air that called somebody a pedo, because they said that you called Tony one. Tony and Seth are saying that everybody who received the C&D had called Sebastian one. Like, what are they even talking
I've
about?
never heard anyone talk bad about Sebastian ever.
Never.
Except his dad.
His own father. Right.
His dad is the one that told us that Chris Proudfoot was calling him that.
Right.
That never needed to be said.
Well, actually, he said it was Chris's mom messaged his mom, Seth's mom, Robin.
Oh, yeah.
Saying it.
Right. But that still never needed to be said. No one needed to know that.
And did you see the way he spoke to Trevor Lee? Did you see that on the screen?
Yeah, Trevor actually sent me those.
Yeah.
Yeah, horrible. Horrible.
And it says so much about him. Like, for platform gain.
It shows where his mindset is.
Right. That's where it is, at platform gain.
And I liked how you picked out his I instead of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like
that was a little
subconscious.
slip. Yep.
That was just like
how
slip
when
of
he
his peen.
and his little slip up when he emailed me and said, I'm doing the best I can and trying to be a husband and father.
Yes. And did you see
That
somebody
little
did
slip
ask
up.
him? They asked him on TikTok, like, how does your wife feel about all this? And he even admitted, like, well, I work all day. And then when he basically admitted his wife's not happy with him.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He's getting his platform gain.
Unbelievable.
I mean, how
high
cold.
school girl drama, he says.
Yep.
Who even says that?
Well, did you hear his Delta friend, his attorney friend, calling JLR homophobic slurs?
I didn't. Was that last night?
Despicable. Yep. And they were doxing QB. They were doxing
Oh,
JLR.
I didn't listen to last night. Did they talk about me?
No, I don't think you were really mentioned at all.
Oh, good.
I think he's waiting for your apology.
Oh, the FBI. I'm waiting for the FBI. Fuck it. I'd rather have the FBI than give an apology.
Well, that's what I said. Who says I contact the FBI, but if you give me an apology, what, you're going to call down the FBI? Like, what?
Oh, Emmy Joe.
Yeah, I just seen that.
It was me on your live, Jay. I made a comment about Tony being a creeper with the teenies on TikTok, and you highlighted it and read it out loud. It was the same day as the Pascal CPS document interview.
Wow.
I think I did say he was creepy.
He is creepy.
I mean, it is creepy to sit there like that. Like, if that was one of my daughters, nope.
Could you imagine your husband supposedly working all day and then coming home and jumping on TikTok with a bunch of teeny boppers?
Nope.
Like, who wouldn't have a problem with that?
Nope. I mean, I've had, like I said yesterday, I've had plenty of missing kids' parents come on my panel, and usually it goes something like this. It's going to be about a half an hour long. We're going to come on. We're going to talk about our son, the circumstances, where we're at, and what help we need. End of story. They don't continue it. That's not normal. This is nothing about this is normal. And Jen Coffindaffer was even like, this
What
is
the hell's
interesting.
going on?
Yeah.
Right. This is not how this goes.
Is interesting. Right.
And
I mean, it's despicable.
Well, and it's funny too that he wrote Platform Gain when he's the one who comes on under, Sebastian's team and sits on there, and their conversations are like, if you want to go to sleep, tune in for one of those TikTok conversations because there's so much dead air with a panel full of people, and you're lucky if they even speak on Sebastian the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible.
Oh, and you know what? It's the most messiest platform for something serious. I can
Right.
see like casual conversations, cool. But it's like YouTube is such a clean platform, straightforward. There's no bells and whistles. It's not like a casino game.
Right.
It's just messy. You can't follow anything. And I think that's exactly why he's
they
there.
chose it. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep, because first off, everything vanishes. Like you said, they get their little cupcakes flying and their hearts, and it's very distracting. Is Delta even a real attorney? If he is, he's not spending much time in a courtroom. He's on TikTok. He's not giving out good information either. Like his what did he say? Accessory of a crime.
Yeah, and then all I had to do was Google it. I'm like, he's not even using it in the right context. Like, who does?
Right. Delta needs to take a flight.
We call him Delta 8. Delta 8.
That's what somebody would said. Is he taking Delta? Like, is that the problem here?
I mean, this dude is over there on a platform where you can't even say certain words. You can't even say Facebook. He's over there. They're saying book face.
Book face. It's so stupid.
It's so childish. I just can't grasp what he's thinking.
Well, that's the thing. TikTok is childish, right? It's something my teenagers are on. Like, I can't even fathom. But it was funny because somebody sent me the link to one of his friends. He was on the panel or whatever. And I didn't know, like, when you click it, it was like, Granny's watching.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
And I'm like,
They put
shit,
you on
I'm busted.
blast.
And
Yes.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like,
Ugh.
oh, no, I'm busted. But then I asked them, I said, did everybody see Tony's little sausage the other night? And they kicked me out so quick. I'm like, bye.
They do, too. They do. They used to let me watch in the beginning. And I didn't care at first. I was like, I'm screen recording this. Then it got old. Like, I'm not staying up all night to listen to this rubbish. There were other people that started screen recording it, and I was so grateful.
Oh, yes.
I was like, thank God I don't have to stay up and mess with this. But, oh, shoot, I can't remember what I was going to say. But I did. Can I address someone in your chat? Nothing bad. Titanium Built, I just want to say you cracked me up last night. I was watching her go over the peen video and I was dying. She was so funny. I suggest everybody watch that if you want a good laugh. Everybody's reactions are cracking me up.
Well, and he's just making it worse because now we want to react more because he's denying it. Just own it.
Right?
I mean, it's stupid.
Everybody makes mistakes,
They updated it where the creators even notify when just flipping for you page and not just clicking the live. Well, I didn't like that because it put me on front. It was like Granny's. I'm like, oh,
what does that mean? Flipping the For You page.
So if you're like on TikTok and you're just scrolling like the way you do through shorts on YouTube and you land to like watch for a second, it tells them that you're watching.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah. So
I don't like that.
I wanted to be in the bushes. I even messaged the person back. I'm like, you didn't give me a heads up it was going to do this. Like, they got me now. They are so boring. I mean, the most excitement I had was, unfortunately, the annoying baby in the background. No disrespect to the baby. I love babies, but
it's
mute your
inappropriate.
mic. Right.
It's inappropriate. They don't know. It's weird. It's like they don't know.
It's like a high school gathering. They don't have any, it's not professional. And if you want to be seen as a professional, which Tony will never be seen as, unfortunately, Tony's penis will follow him around literally forever. Nobody will ever forget that this professional guy had a slip like that on TikTok. But why no professional is going over to TikTok to discuss the seriousness of missing kids?
It never would have happened in the first place if he was professional. He wouldn't even be there.
That's right.
And if he was professional, why would he even be doing any of this in the first place? Like, why aren't you just selling cranes?
Well, and that's what Jennifer was basically saying. Like, let's get the focus back where it belongs, not on all this. What did Tony call it? High school girl drama.
High school girl drama.
Yeah, quit being a whiny little bitch. You're scared to talk to Seth. You're pathetic.
What?
Yeah. Starting up high school girl drama. Meanwhile, he's sitting with a bunch of high schoolers on TikTok. Like, come on.
Well,
let's explain that, Jay. Let's talk about that for a minute. So you're scared to take your bullshit, your drama to Seth. Isn't that the purpose of Tony Mathis here, so that people don't have to bother Seth?
I thought it was, yeah.
I thought so
He's
too.
supposed to be taking everything for Seth.
Right.
But what's funny is he says that Trevor Lee is scared.
Yeah,
he didn't
scared.
appear scared when he hopped up on Smiley's panel and
Well,
and
and
was trying to speak and was getting yelled at. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't afraid to speak up.
Right. And should he be scared? Would be my next question. Should he be scared?
And what should he be scared of?
Right. Well, Seth said I showed him my teeth and he still didn't back down. Well, what does that mean? I showed him my teeth.
I don't like that.
No. I this is why people, you know,
No one should be showing their teeth. I mean, what?
Right. Who even says that?
I don't know. They're very aggressive, and it's very sad to think that Sebastian had to deal with these people.
Well, and that's how I felt when we heard Seth speak to Trevor Lee, how he did with the whole boy, and I told you boy, and the grunting through his teeth. All I could envision is that's how he spoke to Sebastian.
Me too.
You know, and not for nothing. I know people get annoyed when we say that Trevor's a kid, but Trevor is. He's what, 21 years old? He's a young boy.
He's younger than all three of my children.
Right.
So to me, he's a kid.
He's a kid.
And he's accomplished more than some adults on this platform, let me tell you, at 22.
Oh, I agree. He absolutely is. And to insult him and say you're trying to gain off another child for platform gain. He doesn't even have a platform right now. So what's he trying to gain?
And he never did when he had a platform. He was never that type of person.
Right.
But the funny thing is they thought that they were going to somehow make people believe these things. And that's what I was saying yesterday. Like these people have built a reputation with this community here.
Yep.
We know them. We know their history. We've seen them time after time, case after case. You can't come here and just all of a sudden drop shit and think we're going to just believe it because you're Tony.
Right.
I don't get that.
So let's talk about that. So Trevor Lee was on my panel and he mentioned being disappointed in Tony and Seth. And at this point, he just mentioned it. He gets a message from them basically telling him, if you go back on that Granny's Watching's channel, we're going to blame you for the leaked phone call. So Trevor Lee's kind of like, well, what, you know, I didn't do that. So they're like blackmail him. So he comes up and he gives me Tony's messages to show that Tony promised him he wanted badmouth Chloe and then went on to badmouth Chloe. And Trevor was disappointed. You gave me your word. And then you know, and of course, Tony's response then was anything less than professional, but they were like blackmailing him. So when that all came out on Smiley's, that was a complete setup. From somebody going around earlier that day through all the chats telling everybody Seth and Tony would be on Smiley's later, to Seth acting like he didn't know he was on Smiley's panel when he called, you know, Trevor a slimy whatever. That was a setup, Jay. They were going to frame him for the leak of and if other
just for being on your panel speaking out
and for showing Tony's messages. Yep. And if other creators didn't stand up for Trevor Lee in that moment, who knows how far that would have went.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're
and
right.
Trevor, again, does more than people. I know people feel how they feel because he didn't need his interview, whatever. But Trevor does far more in his real world than he does just online. So that type of like, you know, game being played and blackmail taking place. I mean, these guys are blackmailing people behind the scenes. Why? Why is Seth Rogers and Tony Mathis blackmailing people? I figured that was what they were doing today, Emmy. I'm not surprised.
Oh, Trevor Lee's on JLRs. That'll be good.
Yeah.
All
Should
right.
we end and go listen to it?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna hop down, but thanks for having me up, and it's always nice chatting with you.
Yeah, you as well. I really enjoy chatting with you, so thank you for coming up.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good day. Bye, chat.
Don't go doing any overlays
Oh,
now.
I won't. Drip, drip, drip.
Yeah, flush.
See ya.
Bye. That was crazy. I don't think Seth could have a job because he's a suspect as the others. So could be work for LE as a suspect. So somebody had told me they were going to email me proof that Seth was fired, but I never received the proof. Trevor did speak up. He spoke up over here. He told everybody, but at that time, people that were siding with Seth believed Seth when he said that Trevor leaked the phone call, but he didn't. Trevor was one of many who got that phone call under Michaela's name. And now I wonder, since Michaela has had a falling out with Seth, will Michaela tell the truth? Yeah, thanks, Emmy. You just made like half my viewers go. Thanks for telling us. Anyway, hit the thumbs up on the way out. I'm going to end it how I always do, which is how it should always be, about Sebastian. It's unfortunate this is all taking place. I did upload this, Titanium. I believe it was you. Somebody else asked that I make the video, a video on his own. So I did do that. I don't know if people saw it, if it's gotten out there, but you are free to take the video. I do want to update it. I'm sure I could. I don't think he would mind. I do need to update it and add more to the video, but let me see how serious they're getting over there. I don't want to disrespect them by playing them too much.
On Smiley's channel, like, you know, kind of like belittling you and you know, saying egregious things towards you. I don't get it, because we know the whole space here, the whole true crime community on YouTube that covers these cases. You're very well liked. You've been around. They know, everyone knows your heart, your passion. You're young. You know, you have a bright future. You know, you advocate for these missing kids and you use your platform. You're well liked.
It sounds like it's a great discussion over there. I don't want to disrespect them and play too much of it. I have high respect for Trevor Lee, you know, JLR. So I don't want to disrespect them. So I'm going to ask you all to give a thumbs up. If you want to go over there and check that out, please feel free to check it out. We will discuss it maybe later. Maybe I'll jump back on in a little bit. And yeah, I appreciate you all being here with me today. And again, I'm sorry if I made anybody feel like I was literally asking you guys for anything. I wasn't. I was just explaining. I'm sorry if people are unhappy with that, but sorry, Tawanda. Come back another time and try again. Not today. On February 26, 2024, an Amber Alert went out for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian is white, 5'5", 120 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. Sebastian was last seen wearing a black long-sleeve shirt, black sweatpants, and glasses. He has a medical condition that may impair his ability to return safely without assistance. If you have seen Sebastian or have information regarding his whereabouts, please contact the Sumner County Emergency Center or TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Let's take this moment to pray for Sebastian's safe return.